Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of March 10th, 2019. The all pre-recorded edition. No live stream this time. I won't be able to do it, so just gonna do it all in one go. Anyways, on the cover we have, what was it called? Okay, Yui Kamio Let's Loose. Oh, actually, I just noticed these were not the same image. Like, I kind of just assumed they were. Interesting. Because I was going to say, like, Yui Kamio I assumed was the main character, and he had to let loose both metaphorically and literally. But actually, like, he's not even on this image, which is a different image. Which makes me think that, first of all, Yui Kamio is probably not the guy then. Like, even in harem series or, series that have a bunch of girls, like, usually the guy shows up on the what do they call this again? Like, the image that is supposed to sell the series, which is also what Jump tends to use for these little, like, previews. So, in that case, is Yui Kamio then one of these girls? Like, I assume Let Loose is like, it refers to these chains. Because they're in both of these images, I assume it's not like it's not a metaphorical chain, it's probably literal. So it might just be like, she has to let loose, and this is her love interest, and this other girl helps her let loose, perhaps. Anyways, we have quite a while to get to that. Here's what my general structure looks like right now. Um, since there is no live stream this week, I can't do it. We are just going to do all the pre-recorded series, and then we're going to just do more pre-recorded series. Starting off with Actage, chapter 56. So, we were like 2 or 3 chapters into this Kayanagi not actually doing professional acting arc, which I am super into, surprisingly. Like, it's such a simple idea, but I really like it. Like, I like the idea of her manager telling her not to, not to put her head in the clouds. He's trying to force her to be more realistic, to try and live with normal people for a little bit. Of course, she's online. Everyone is online in Japan. What in the world? I mean, I guess they are all famous, so they would have like stickers of themselves. But it's so weird to see Kate like using a sticker and then using a sticker that is not of her, but is of just a girl that she worked with once. That feels so bizarre. I don't know if there is a thing like that. Like if I were talking to a voice actor, for instance, I would assume that if they're going to send me a like a sticker, they would use one that is like just a character they've played. Or if not a character they played, then it would just be like a full cartoon sticker, like like Donald or Goofy or like anything that's just a straight up cartoon that is not related to anything they've ever done. But the idea of using like one of your coworkers as a sticker feels so weird to me. Okay, the girl at the next desk over. Of course not. I got picked to shoot videos for the school festival. Would they really be upset with her if she were making videos? Like, the whole thing is that she can't be, like, a professional actress right now. Like, that's why he's turning down all the work. But it's like, if she wants to make her own home videos, like, there's no problem with that. If anything, that actually might root her a bit closer to reality. I didn't, like, join the cinema club so I can make friends and act and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is, like, the director doesn't want her to not act. The director just doesn't want her to, like, be disconnected from society. So, yeah, he's probably completely fine with this. By the way, I don't remember if I said this before, but I did read the like the one shot that came before Actage, the prequel that is just about this girl and the class that she was in, and director son being a student or like being a teacher for 1 year. That was really really good, and I do love that it's canon. Like it expands the series a bit more. Nobody ever sees her as a friend, but she keeps going with dignity, which gives her a magnetic charm. Okay, that does feel like a very short, like it's a very short film sort of short film. Like, it's one of those things where it doesn't feel like it's trying to reach to be, like, a full film. It's not like it's, just a testing ground for someone to look at and to pick up as, like, a full, like, feature. It really is, like, a short film that could only work as a short film. That's some real equipment. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Like, it's overproduced. There's too much going on. Like, in this case, it would make sense to actually not use professional equipment, just because, like, it's all designed with the intent of having, someone really well trained to hold the boom mic and to make sure it's positioned properly and out of frame and, to also physically be able to hold it up for that long. Like, it would make a lot more sense if she just had, like, a wireless mic, like a lapel mic. Right, video, sound production, art direction, we just don't have enough people. Like, a lot of this stuff tends to come down to the director. like the smaller and smaller a film is, the more everyone else has to like either pick up more stuff, like they just have to put on more hats, or one person has to take the majority of the work. Like if you're gonna have actors that aren't also doing other stuff, then it's like the director is also everything else. Okay, I was thinking of this mostly as like um a way to show like, what the way she's been doing this will not apply to a small scale production. But I guess you could reverse it too. Like it's also her appreciating the fact that those big productions took a lot of people and all those people were vastly important. Okay, they're just ghost members. Right, right, right. Yeah, so how will they do it? Like part of the arc could be getting these two invigorated. Like because we had so much focus on them, I assume they're going to be like an active part of the arc. But assuming they're not, how else could you do it? No, 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 no. This is bad. This is bad. This is the I think I brought this up last time too. The Robert Downey Jr. thing where like he mentioned that he does not want to do independent films anymore. Like he will just do big budget stuff like, the Marvel movies and whatnot. Because he gets paid a lot of money and he doesn't have to do a ton of work. Whereas like when he does an indie video, it's always like, okay, well, first of all, he has to go out, he has to do like all the like if they're going to promote it at all, he's always front and center because he's the big name. They're also going to need to use his money. Even if they have their own budget, they're inevitably going to go to him and say like, "Hey, we need some extra cash. We know you have it. Can you lend us a couple $100?" Like it's just a big pain. I feel like this is exactly wrong, but I get this is part of the arc. Like she has to try and get pros and then realize, no, that's not correct. We need to go the opposite direction. But I can understand why she would want to jump to it. Partially because like it's the world she knows, and partially also just because like it's a good way to flex. This script is based on you. I mean, that does make sense. Like if it was just him looking over at her and not being able to understand her. Because I mean, up until now, she's also like she's added to the things she's acted in just by virtue of improv, basically. Like if she in the moment decided this is something this role would do, she would just immediately do it. Whereas with this, like this is a role based on her specifically, and not just on her, on like a past version of her before she grew up this much. So I feel like she could have much more of an impact on this specifically. Okay, and yeah, it's because it's so intimate that she was like, yeah, you know what? Never mind. I'm not going to call in anyone else. If it's just you and me, if that's what this entire thing was based on in the first place, then this is how we have to do it. Okay. Imagine you know who someone is and protect your story on them, but that doesn't lead to friendship. Yeah, that does make sense. All of the producers I've known worked super hard just to realize their visions. Yeah, like, let's not jump ahead. If he's an amateur and he has amateur stuff, he should use his amateur stuff to make it happen. Ah, it's good. This is how I saw you. Which makes sense, like, again, this is based entirely on her specifically. So she really doesn't have to act that much with it. I mean, she does, but she doesn't have to act the way she usually does. Where it's like she puts herself in a foreign situation and then figures out how she would act in it. Like this isn't a foreign situation. This is her actual life. Ah, and the gears are starting to turn in her. Like she's starting to maybe not like gain an appreciation for what they're doing, but at the very least, she understands like they're being serious about this. 8 scenes and 12 cuts to go. We're gonna do this together. All right. I actually really like this. Like, I assumed that this arc would involve the other two members of the group, but I actually really don't want them to do this then. Or if they do, I'd want it to be like a last minute thing where it's like, they can't get the film properly produced or something. And so they have to like beg those two to, to help out. And then through that they realize like, oh wow, like this might actually be something special. But I would actually like if it was just the two of them from beginning to end. Like the ultimate in a small production that isn't literally just Kay doing something by herself. Like she is bouncing off of someone else. The two of them are growing together. This is a fantastic arc. So, the first I feel like my first thing of the week, which is usually Actage, is usually unfairly ranked. Like, it tends to drift down to the bottom just because I'm like, oh, well, this thing I just read feels a bit better than how I feel right now about Actage. But Actage really is like a solid series. I need to remember that. Anyways, next is. Oh, no, 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 no. Jumped forward a little too much there. Next is Black Clover, chapter 196. So last time, I've been thinking about it, and there's no way there's another twist. Like this has to be the demon, right? Or like the devil. Like that has to be it. Everything else feels like a bit of a pull. It feels it's not just that it feels like a bit of a reach, it also feels like it would be Yuki Tabata saying, "Well, I just want to delay this more. Like the demon's going to show up eventually. Like we have to do that." Ever since the very start, we know that demons do exist. Like if this is not a demon right now, when the elves are being betrayed, when there was this pure black energy that looks a lot like Asta's, that doesn't look like Yami's, like to have this not be the demon would be such a ridiculous thing. Okay, except I can see through lies. I know. Who's narrating here? I didn't want to diminish their thirst for revenge against humans, not even a little. I want to see him again, no matter what. Oh, okay. I forget who got stabbed, but also like I've had a real rough time trying to remember which elf is which. Like especially now that they've all been reincarnated and they all look different from how we first saw them. Who was the one who could see through lies? Was he the one with the copycat magic, or was it someone else? Because I remember that guy having a thing where he was talking about like the fact that he knows lies because his entire magic is based around lies. But I don't remember if he ever mentioned like, yeah, we've got a massive liar on our hands. It says Ron, here in our midst. Okay, Oh boy, in the fifth leaf resides the devil. By the way, like, when I say demons, or like the devil, I mean like this essentially. Like in the fifth leaf resides the devil, like the thing that refers to Asta's like grimoire. That's what I'm talking about. Like, regardless of whether devils really exist or if they're like elves that have been corrupted, which that's been a pretty popular theory. Like, regardless of any of that, my I'm assuming it is that like whatever this is has to relate to Asta's book. I'm right of the day I used to bond between the mages chosen by Florally. Okay, and created the Grimoire of Despair. Is that Asta's grimoire? Today, finally, I will acquire what should have been mine then. Okay, yeah, so this is what I assumed. That this devil was definitely using this power to, like, to manipulate the elves. Like, the elves thought they were going to use this for their own gains, but the fact that the Shadow Palace is the boundary between this world and the next, like, this is the only way either it can get free or it can summon something even greater than itself. What is this? This cold, pitch black magic. Oh my gosh. I hope it looks like the devil in the anime. Like, I know the manga also draws it very distinctly, but in the anime, I've always loved the fact that whenever we get a flash of the devil, it's always animated super differently from everything else in the series. Like, it's so weird and sketchy and just, like, not normal. Okay. That's not what I expected. Like, the arms and limbs, like, that all being pure black. That's actually not what I expected. I expected it to be more sketchy looking. Like, that's what I was thinking of when I was thinking of the anime. This is a cool design, though. I do love how clean the black silhouette is. And then, like, I hope that its body does look like this, like, just like this, as opposed to having, like, a full white body. Like, because it's fracturing apart here, it looks like this might be some sort of layer, but I hope it isn't. The face is also really freaky. I feel like I've seen these eyes before, but not in Black Clover. Ooh, while imperfect, it is still my body for the first time in centuries. Okay, so did it come entirely out of the black magic? Yes, it did. Because I was gonna say, like, is it possessing an elf? Is that why it has the weird pointy ears? But no. I mean, there's the third option. Like, I've currently defaulted to just devils are something else. But it's also possible that devils do all derive from elves. And this is just, a devil that was cast away, sent to the afterlife or something. And now it's clawing its way back. I'll have you drink the same abysmal despair that Licht tasted long ago. Okay, so yes, this is what we thought from the beginning. That day, the one who deceived the humans and had them destroy the elves was I. I'm saying this almost as if it's a bad thing, but it's not a bad thing. Like, not in the slightest. Like, this is the payoff. We've wanted this for so long. It doesn't need to be more of a twist than, yeah, of course. Like, there was some weird miscommunication between the elves and the humans. The humans did destroy the elves, but it was under the influence of this devil. I tricked you laughably, you reaped your revenge as I'd intended. Yeah, you're all such fools. Oh, I love that too. Like, the fact that I don't remember his name at all, but this elf specifically, I'm pretty sure this is the one with the copy magic. Like, he knew this was not correct. He knew that that the humans didn't betray the elves for the reason everyone else assumed they did. But he still bought into it. And it was because of that, like, regardless of whether the devil truly wanted him to do that or not, whether or not it was all part of the plan, he still fell into it. Like, he still played along. He is still the reason why this all happens. Okay, return. So he just flipped it over. I assumed, like, because Asta's book, like, Asta's grimoire is the anti-magic one, I assumed this devil would also use anti-magic, and that would be the whole thing of, like, wait, what? He has the same type of magic? But no. It doesn't even seem like it's a spell. It's kind of, like, made everything reverse. So how is this going to go down? Is he also going to reverse this? In the face of my word soul magic, all is meaningless. Because at first, like, reverse makes sense if it's just like, it's like power words from D&D. Like, you just say the word and it immediately happens. But vacuum wall sounds more like an actual spell. Like, if it was going to be power words, then I would have assumed he would have just said something like stop. Okay, Asta made it. I did not expect him to get here this quickly. Like, I'm glad that this arc does not seem to have a whole lot of stalling in it. There's a lot of, multi-chapter fights, but there's very little where it's like, oh, this character can't get from point A to point B because of reasons. Oh my god, that's the end of the chapter. Well, this was quite a chapter. I do want to do a video eventually about series where I feel like you could just kind of jump in and read some manga. Like, if all you want to do is read some manga, this is, like, what series would be the best one to just read some manga if you're not interested in continuity or whatever. And I feel like Black Clover is definitely a series like that. Not in the sense that it's like, not that the continuity is not important. It is. It's very important. Like, this would not be nearly as good if it hadn't been built up for so long. But, like, it's definitely a very consistent series. It's a series where I feel like you could jump to any chapter and enjoy it. Like, even the ones that aren't about fighting still have, like, great character interactions or something of value that you could enjoy, but it's not, like, super standouts. It's always consistently fun. So I won't put this above Actage. I'll put it right below it for now. Like, I have really nothing else to say apart from, wow, we finally have a demon. Like, we have a devil, and he's very powerful, and, like, it seems like he may have created Asta's grimoire. If he did, like, assuming it is the Grimoire of Despair, if it's not, then that means there's another, like, demon-made grimoire out there somewhere. But yeah, I'm very curious, because this guy especially feels like final arc tier, and we know this is the first arc. Like, Yuki Tabata has said, this is not the end, this is barely even the beginning of what he has planned for Black Clover. So, there's a very there's a very real possibility that this will be, like, the ongoing main boss of the series. Or this could be just the first devil of many, potentially. In any case, this is a big milestone, and I absolutely adored it. Alright, that is Black Clover. Next is Food Wars, Chapter 302. Erina is just crushing everyone. I'm really curious about what their role, like, what their interplay is now. Because Asi, I assume, really does want to marry her, but I assume, like, maybe they have a thing set up where it's like, if she wins, then he doesn't, he'll back away from her. And then additionally, she'll also be able to flex on her mom. Okay, I'm the one person in this world who can give you what you want. I'm the hero come to save you. Megami, are you going to just stay here? Or are you going to do something else? Come on, be strong. When we do, let's make it a Shokugeki. Alright, I'm down with this. I mean, I'm a little not down because I know for a fact she's going to lose. Like, she's going to be sacrificed to make him look cooler. But I am happy that she's been being proactive about this. Like, I really like her as a character, and I hope that this will at least make her look cool. Okay, if I win, please stop making advances on Miss Nakiri, now and forever. So it's not what I thought. I assumed it was Erina. I mean, actually, it could still be that. We don't know that. We still, like, whatever they talked about is a secret. So it could be just Megami also saying, like, having the exact same train of thoughts. Alright, I assume she's gonna have to fight a Noir then? Claws of Evil is an interesting title. So either they're going to use some sort of clawed ingredients, or he'll have some sort of, like, a claws that he uses to, like, shred food. Just like I told you, use those. Claws, perhaps? Yep, they're claws. That is neat, though. Like, he's gotten up to this point without using the claws, so it's not like he's completely gimmicky. Like, he's a good cook on his own, this is just, like, his final level. Okay. I mean, of all the noir, like, some of them feel super weirdly gimmicky, like, why would you even come up with this idea? This makes sense, like, these do feel like super old instruments of cooking. Okay, each of the 5 claws has been dipped in an exquisite blend of seasonings, one for each of the 5 basic flavors the tongue can perceive. Yeah, wait a minute, yes. How does he know so much about something supposedly so secret? Like, that is one heck of a backstory. I'm super into this character now. But how? For what purpose? Are you secretly a noir? His freakish talent is named the Venomous Dish. Okay. His skills put him in the top 5 of all chefs ever seen at the Blue. That is quite insane. So, presumably, Megumi's gonna have to try and beat him, like proving that she by association would be one of the top 5. And then like he's clearly deferential to Saibasaki. So like that hypes both of them up actually quite a bit. I'm pretty into that. What? We didn't even get to see it? Really? I mean, I'm not against it, but I was kind of hoping to see what he would do. Although I assume then that Asahi's going to take the claws and then use them himself. And that's what we're going to see. Like, we might get flashbacks to that fight, but it's going to be mostly just him cooking with the claws, right? Okay. I do like this motivation a lot. Like, this did feel like Erina was backtracking in terms of her character progression. And I like that, like, that's not a flaw. That's not like a mistake. That is a clear part of the plot. And this just highlights that yes, she has been like moving backwards as a character, and that's his fault. Like, he's a negative influence, and so Megumi has to get rid of him. I mean, Megumi's not my favorite character, but she is pretty cute. She's pretty great. Oh, remember that Noir you beat at that hot springs? Okay. Oh my gosh. So this is like a legit Megumi arc. Like, I felt like this was going to be kind of a throwaway thing, but no. Like, we're taking this fight, which we didn't really get to see, and then the fight back at the hot springs, like that, the first introduction to the Noir. And I assume he's going to use both their powers together. And that's going to be, oh boy, that's a lot of knives. The claw that couldn't hope to scratch you, and the knife that belonged to one hopelessly beneath you. How about I cross them and put on a little show to make you understand what I'm really capable of? Like, the whole cross knives thing is very weird. It feels a little too superpowery even for Soma, but I like it enough. And I appreciate that the manga is going to commit to it. Like, we're going to see why this is actually impressive. Like, the general idea does not seem that impressive just because it feels so gimmicky. But if we can see him actually cook properly using like 2 different chefs' unique talents without training them himself, like just through this weird connection he has to the equipments, I'm pretty into that. I really think that's a cool idea, especially if he's also just that skilled that he can combine those 2 abilities while also making them better than than someone who beat both those abilities individually. It was good. It was a good Food Wars. Hmm. So far, this pattern has been very not interesting. Like, this is literally the order in which I read the chapters. But Nahilation's always been a pretty high riser, so let's see how this goes. The sleeping lion. No, the sleeping boar has awoken. Is this the font they've been using for the titles? I don't think it is. I could have sworn the font looked better before. But okay, so I don't think we're going to have many more techie things in this. Like, we have it set up right now. Brother Ta has to legitimately beat this car, just for a moment. Like, once that's done, they'll both be using the same self-driving car technology, which means that, like, once Brother Ta is ahead, Boogie can't get more ahead. So I think it's really going to come all down to that. Like, it's just Neo in the corner hacking, and then Brother Ta has to genuinely just be that good of a driver. He has to beat everyone in this one moment. Yeah, he's got to be wearing down the tires and his nerves. Okay, he's catching up. Come on, Brother Ta, I believe in you. I was saying before that, yeah, sure, we could have an arc where he does lose the temple and then Neo has to come in and double or nothing it, but I don't want that to happen. Like, I am genuinely invested in them now. I want Brother Ta to win. He's 1 car length behind and closing in fast. Uh, the only other thing I can think of, like, in addition to what we've already laid down on the table, is that, like, I mean, there's obvious Brother Ta swerves off, like, falls down a ridge, that could work. But the thing I'm thinking about right now is just like, what if he does something so dangerous that no one has ever done it before? Like getting so close to the guardrails that like the AI just would never have considered it. Like no one else has ever done it. It's never been shown to be, a bonus. It's never been shown to be effective. Therefore, the self-driving car just won't use it. Because we've seen that Boogie he drives with his hands all the way down in his lap or like below his lap. So even if he wanted to switch to manual controls, he can't very easily. Right, he's driving on the inner curve. To get past him, I'll have to take the long way around. You can't count on a computer to mess up, so he's 100% going to drive this line, which makes sense, because, like, it's as close as you can get reasonably to a straight line here. Reasonably is the main thing. Like, I assume you could, like, really, really push it, like, do a line like this, sort of. But, like, I mean, it's in a car. I don't know if that's physically possible. Okay. Seeing you today, I get that you're a stalker and corny, but when you need to be cool, you really pull it off. And the probability of you pulling it off here is high. Come on, brother Todd, do it. I'm putting my faith in probability. Okay. Okay, so he hit the brakes. For what purpose? Oh, Misaki said you arrived on the scene in the spring. Oh, okay. You don't know what this mountain is like in autumn. Okay. Yeah, so because he's only been here for one season, he only has data from one season. Is it like this is actually more dangerous to drive then? Ooh, okay. Yeah, damp leaves gather in that spot. Right, if he actually did the driving himself, he would have realized the road conditions change according to the seasons. So he slowed down, but by doing that, he was able to avoid these. He's able to pull ahead, right? It's a little soon to call yourself the passist. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Automatic driving, make this a breeze. So that's it. He wins, right? Yep, he wins. Couldn't catch up to him if I had all eternity. That is, like, that's everything I wanted. That is genuinely everything I wanted from this chapter. Brother Ta was able to just barely pull ahead using something that wasn't related at all to hacking. Neo was just there in order to make things even once he finally passed him. Boogie had the same opportunity. If Boogie truly knew that, if he knew the way to drive this properly, which he does know, like, he has driven normally without using the automatic driving. But, like, if he had just paid more attention, if he had tried harder, he would have possibly been able to pull ahead of himself. That was a good chapter. I'm sticking that right in the front. Like, it had more visceral appeal than Actage, and it had more, like, general interesting stuff than Black Clover. Like, Black Clover was big because it was a big, interesting milestone in terms of what just happens. But it wasn't something where I was like, oh, wow, this is the greatest. Anyways, moving on, next is Hell Warden Higuma, Chapter 11. Last time we had the big question from Ayaha, why are you doing this Hell Warden stuff? Which I'm super interested in because, as we've seen, like, Higuma doesn't have to do it. He could walk away. There are other Hell Wardens out there, and there's also the Bunracia. Like, even if it would take a while for a Hell Warden to take over his districts, he could just have more Bunracia come in and, fill the gap for a little while. So, what exactly is it? What drives him? Why does he do what he wants, what he does when he doesn't want to do it? I was about to say, why is he doing what he wants to do when we know he doesn't want to do this? Also, yeah, this chapter is just called Higuma and Ayaha, which is incredible. Like, to think that the chapter where they met was not Higuma and Ayaha, this is. We're gonna get some, like, serious stuff with both of them, then. Okay, that does make sense. So, you've never wanted to involve other people in your work. That's why, like, every time he gets a Bunracia, like, of the two we've seen so far, he's been, like, apathetic to them. He's like, I didn't really want this to happen. I'm trying to repay my debt to you, but if you don't know what your work means to you, then I can't know what I should be doing to help. Yeah, like, the title of the series is Hell Warden Hikama, so I have to assume he's not going to give up being a Hell Warden. In another series, like, if it was just a general, I don't know, Hell Wardens series, I could see him genuinely, like, flipping the script and saying, all right, you be the Hell Warden now. But in that case, I have to assume, like, she's going to be more of a confidant, like someone to go to when things get too rough, like when he has problems that he can't resolve properly, when he has to kill a spirit and he's not able to resolve it with himself. He's not able to say, well, this is my flawless argument for what they did. Not my buddy, he's my superior, he's my boss. Right. Yeah, I know the things I do have to be done, but still, no matter how evil my enemy might be, I don't believe I have the right to condemn them to hell. That does make sense. Like again, a big part of the series has been showing how hell is pretty terrifying and how like of course, if you were to break out, you would want to get out and do everything you wanted to. Like there's no punishment that can equate to it. So I can understand what he's trying to say. Like what he's doing is correct, but it doesn't mean he feels good about it. And just like they said back in like chapter 1, you have a strong sense of justice. You have a strong sense of justice, but I don't. Like, she's the kind of person who would, like, stand up and yell at someone who is being a nuisance, but he genuinely would not. That's not his nature. He has to force himself to do it. Right. I won't be saving anyone if my resolve is weak. This is an interesting, what is this? Like some sort of harpy, maybe? It's like big and furry or feathery. This especially looks like it's some sort of like furry whip almost. So maybe he was victimized when he was young and like his father or grandfather had to come in and help him. These tears are also very interesting. Like it looks like from all the fur and stuff, it looks like it is this spirit that is crying. Okay, this does make sense. Like as King Enma said, chapter 1 was the first time he ever fought someone while truly like believing in justice. So before then, he had to be entirely just dispassionate. Like I don't believe in what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it anyways. All these people you mentioned, they were saved by this construct, a fake. But I mean, I can understand that too. Like, it doesn't matter if you are a fake. Like, sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you do just have to go on autopilot for a bit. That's not wrong. But I can understand why you'd have a complex over that too. Like, it's not imposter syndrome, but it must be something similar to it. This idea of like the person that is doing this is not me. It's a persona I've put on in order to stop myself from feeling bad about what I'm doing. This is an interesting panel. So King Enma is like looking on this, and he can actually see all the speech bubbles. Like that's a really interesting effect. There's also someone over here. Don't think we can quite see who they are. Like I don't think this is a person we've seen before as far as I know. Right, she couldn't begin to understand what he was feeling. To Aya, the concept was simple, common sense. If you do something bad, you get scolded. Crimes result in punishments. Yeah. And of course, that would also make sense. Like, she and her brother did nothing wrong. So the fact that, like, they were able to be randomly possessed by spirits, it would have deeply disturbed her. So how is she going to get around this? Like, how do you make someone feel more justified when they themselves do not believe in justice? Or in the justice that they represent? Okay, you don't get to decide who can be thankful for you. Right. I can see that. Like, you can't run away from the good things you've done. Higuma, even when you're in doubt, you still fight, no matter what burdens you carry. And that's cool. That's a solid line. Yeah, I really like this dynamic. Like, I like the idea of him being, the person who doesn't quite know what's going on. That he's the indecisive one, and Ayaha is the one who actually has, like, the strong sense of justice. Like, she's the one who is the rock in this relationship. Okay. So Kavada was just spying on them this whole time. That's also a cool way of doing it, like having him in a separate panel, but it's also all the same panel. Okay, and we're switching back to maybe the old man? She fell too short to provide even a measure of his strength. She was too fueled by obsession to be of use. Okay, so yeah, this is not the old man. This is just someone serving the old man with the smoke that we saw before. Also, based on what I was just talking about at the start of this, is the old man perhaps Niraharian? Like, I've never thought of him as being a powerful spirit, but he seems to come up a lot in series as of late. Oh, this is also a really good way of explaining why it is that Higuma keeps on going up against like incrementally stronger and stronger enemies. Like it's not just absolute chance; it's someone who genuinely wants to see what his limits are. So this person is sending like worse and worse threats. I love any series that can do that. Like, if every series did that, it would get really stale. But I appreciate whenever a series does do that, when it's like, oh, it felt like it was a Monster of the Week series, but it's not. Like, it genuinely is not Monster of the Week. Then there was like this overarching plan there. Okay, duration in hell. This is the count of the years that condemned spirits spent in hell. Sure, sure, sure. To the spirits who escape, Lord Ingetsu, Lord Ingetsu. Oh boy, Ingetsu. Now that's a name I recognize. Okay, so this one is just falling apart already. So was this another Hell Warden, or was this another yokai, or, fugitive spirits? With every year spent in hell, their powers become more deeply imbued with the distinct qualities of the tortures they were subjected to. Okay, so it's not just that, like, they get more powerful. Like, I assumed that was what it was based on, the years we saw thus far. But it's not even like their powers are based on the sins they committed. It's their powers are based on how they were tortured in hell. Yeah, like it said, through a wide variety of tortures over many thousands of years. I guess that actually might be just like, yeah, because it says thousands of years. Most of them we've only seen have been like a couple hundred years or so. So it might be like, if you have the whips, for instance, that's because you spent all your time being whipped for, a couple hundred years. But if you'd been there for like way longer, for like thousands of years, then you'd have gone through a variety of things and you'd have like a variety of different weapons. Their depravity sinks deeper. Some sort of poison ability or venom? Okay. So this is, I think, the same fugitive spirit that was in the flashback. Like it's got the same weird wiggly furry thing here. It seems to be a male, which the other one was. Uh Actually, oh, it is also crying. Like it's looking at Higuma and crying. So yeah, it's definitely the same one. Like this one was also crying. Interesting though. Like I assumed these tears were going to be like a thing that was meant to make Higuma relate to the demons, perhaps. But it seems more like the tears are its weapon. Like it was menacing him and like making the tears drip further and further as it was like approaching. So this spirit isn't Getsu. Yamagiri is the one being destroyed, and we don't have a name for this guy, but it seems like he's going to be very important if he has like a direct connection to why Hikama started this in the first place. But yeah, overall, good chapter. Like, Hell Warden definitely seems like the kind of series that is getting better and better over time. At the very start, it was very shaky, but now it's definitely like it's resolved itself. It's crystallized. It's become something that I'm actually looking forward to. Like, I'm actually invested in it. All right, so I would put that. Uh, I mean, it was no neolation, it was no actage. I don't know if I'd put it above Black Clover though. I guess I'd put it above Food Wars. Like it was very good, but it wasn't as good as what happened in Black Clover. And I do think all these rankings are pretty solid right now, like in relation to one another. So that seems like a good place for it. That was Higuma. Next is Chainsaw Man, Chapter 13. Yes, we have the escalation from, just being able to touch to any one wish. And any one wish from her specifically. Like, that feels like endgame material. So, I mean, it's obviously, yes, okay, anything. And it doesn't seem like she's teasing him. In the past, she definitely was. But she seems to be very serious about, like, yes, anything. It's a devil so strong and evil that it's okay to offer you a blank check. Okay. There's a time when the whole world tried to cash in on guns as a countermeasure. Okay. Ah, this makes sense. Just when fear of guns had risen around the world, there was a big terrorist attack involving guns in America. That same day, the gun devil appeared. This is interesting. Like, up until now, I didn't consider the idea that there was just one devil for everything. Like, I assumed that, for the Bat Devil, for instance, maybe there were multiple. If it's just one gun devil that became this powerful, and it seems like she's implying it definitely is just one, then that also creates an interesting, like, scaling system for the series. Where, like, it isn't just that, like, the thing that they're based on correlates to how powerful the devil is. It's like, how do I put this? Like, they're not just a classification. It's not like this type of devil is always going to be stronger than this other type of devil. It's like there's just one. There's just one that has all the power, create from like all the fear of that thing that exists in this world. So like Mushroom Devil, not that strong just because like fear of mushrooms is super rare. I can see some people who are, definitely traumatized by eating mushrooms in the woods and they're poisonous and something bad happens. But overall, pretty rare. Whereas like chainsaws, powerful. Blood, very powerful. Lots of people are scared of blood. And then Gun Devil, like especially with this backstory, like it was energized by this specific thing, like this confluence of things to make people scared of guns. Okay, who could this be? So even though he's sick, he still wants to play. Oh boy, this makes me feel wonky a little. Like this is giving me tiny little flashbacks to to Fire Punch. Like just the fact that they are siblings and that there is snow on the ground. Like oh boy. Uh okay. Was this the Gun Devil that did it? Oh my god. November 8th, 10 a.m. The Gun Devil hits Japan for 26 seconds. Death toll 57,912. For 26 seconds. Like, that's not a devil, that's like a storm. Oh my god. Hey, they mentioned Canada. Deaths 8,481. Relatively low compared to everywhere else. Hawaii? I guess Hawaii is just separate from the United States in this count for some reason. Also, interestingly, I guess it must be like based on how many guns the like that place has specifically. Because like India has a much bigger population, but as far as I know, guns aren't like that big in India compared to the US. So of course the US would have the biggest death toll. Whereas China, like they have like a very, very large military, so that alone would increase the amount of guns they have per capita. In about 5 minutes, the gun devil killed almost 1.2 million people and then fell off the face of the earth. To this day, it hasn't been seen since. Right. After the incident, fear of devils as a whole sword, and all devils became stronger than before. So I guess that makes sense. Like if you're the blood devil, for instance, part of your power is based on fear of blood, but part of it's also just based around fear of devils. Like, oh, that's so cool. Like this is genuinely a really cool character building or like world building concept. The idea that the entire world has to act in order to make sure that like general fear of certain concepts is lowered, just to prevent certain types of devils from becoming absurdly powerful. Right. Yeah, because it wouldn't even just be like, we're like reducing coverage of a gun crime. It would have to be like all violent crime, like all disasters, like just that stuff in general. Because, in case you create some sort of, I don't know, like buildings falling over devil. That is, oh boy. I mean, I don't think Denji can beat that kind of thing. Like Denji he's strong, but he's not that powerful. Definitely not. This feels like we're setting up like the end game boss. In that case, we'll have to start by finding it. Okay. Oh, okay. It's shaped like bullets. That's clever. Or actually, they look more like casings, which I guess makes more sense. Like they're all cast off pieces. Oh, when devils eat these pieces, the gun devil's power enhances their power, regardless of what type of devil they are. Interesting. Ah, okay. So put enough pieces together, it'll like try to reattach itself to the original gun devil, and therefore they'll be able to find it. But until then, they have to just find the pieces, which are going to be inside of other devils. Oh my gosh, this is a really cool setup for a series. Like, it feels weird to say that's 2 volumes into the series, but like this definitely feels like, the ongoing format for the series. It was too strong for some small fry devil. Ah, did it eat that or was it fed that? Yeah, this also means that we can have, like, I'm not sure what kind of devil this was. It could just be a fish devil, but like with the weird like things making it walk. Like, is this the Gyo devil? I remember they were like Gyo definitely had like, fish with these weird things that they could use to walk around with. Oh, it has like 2 fins too, or like 2 tails. It could also just be like I don't know, like a pollution devil maybe. But yeah, like that's also a cool way of just having like lesser concepts be important, as opposed to having to use up like all the really good ones. Like now we've already gotten up to blood and to bats. Like we could have goofy ones that just have like a bunch of these gun devil pieces in them. Wait a minute. Was that? Okay, so it was him. So yeah, because I was so confused as to why we spent this much time with a character that I assumed we weren't like connected to at all. I mean, I definitely understand it. I get why he's so like angry at devils now in general. Like just because he understands for sure how powerful the gun devil is. Like he knows that is what devils can do potentially. Movement from a gun devil piece confirmed. It's likely that a devil has ingested another piece. Okay, so they can just have like one on a pendant in order to track down not just the gun devil itself, but pieces of the gun devil. This is a fantastic idea. Oh my god, I love it. Okay. I am so in. Like we've got our 3 regulars, we have Eye Patch Girl, we have the newbie, and then I don't remember what his personality was at all, but I hope we get to see more of it in this arc. Like it feels like we're going to do sort of a raid redemption slash dread thing where they're in the hotel, maybe there's multiple devils. The entire setup is just something I absolutely adore from any type of series. So I am 100% down. Like this feels like a good lead into to the like the 3rd volume. Because I assume like the first 2 volumes would be 6 chapters each. Like that makes sense. Then like the 2nd volume would end with a very big climax. and the slight lead into this chapter. Oh my, oh man, oh man, oh man. That means hopefully, this entire hotel arc will take like 6 chapters, which I would love. Like, I want a good ongoing arc that involves everyone. Ah, man, Chainsaw Man. I've I didn't enjoy like of the 3 jump starts we've had. This was the one I was the most shaky on, in the sense that like I knew from the start, not a big fan of Hell Warden, very big fan of Lation. Chainsaw Man, I was very shaky on. But as of this arc, like I'm very into it. I definitely think this deserves to be above Actage. Do I want to put it above Neolation? Not really. I don't know. Because it was a fantastic chapter. I think I will. Like, Neolation was a good climax, but this was a good, like, it was a very good setup. It was a fantastic setup. So I think I will value it. Like, I'll give it the lauding it deserves by putting it at the very top for now. Yeah, because like my mind is racing. I really do love potential in manga, like even more so than I love climaxes. I love art like chapters like this that make my heart absolutely race. Because of that, like Black Clover also has a ton of potential in it, so it feels weird that I put it so low. But we'll see, we'll see. I'll keep it there. Next is The Last Saiyuki, Chapter 2. Okay, for someone else's sake. Now, the gold standard of the first 3 chapters of a new series is first chapter is the premise, second how to turn that premise into an ongoing thing, and then third is your first big arc. So first chapter did a very good job of giving us like what the series is. But and I've heard this from a lot of different places. It doesn't feel like something that would become a full ongoing series, which I'm happy about. Like I think some of the best chapter ones are the ones that feel like just a one shot. And this definitely felt like a one-shot first chapter. So I'm excited to see how this chapter will then extend that. How it'll turn this into like what the series is going to be doing, like going forward. Okay, I'm into this. I like this concept. Like, it's not that I won't tell you, it's that I can't tell you. I've been like as of late especially, I've been very into series that have like conceptual abilities or like conceptual weapons. Things where it's like why doesn't the main character get all the information right now? It's not because someone's, intentionally holding it back. Like it's not like they're arbitrarily holding it back. It's that they literally cannot give them that information. Like the very nature of that information is it is such that you can't relay it normally. I think that's such a cool concept. It's like, yeah, he literally cannot tell him how it's going to go down, but like he just has to learn it himself. And like assuredly, at some point in the series, we as the readers will understand, like, okay, that's why his dad was unable to say exactly what was going on. Like, I'm not saying this makes him a good person at all, but like, I like this as a justification. Right? I don't care if you end up hating me. Please remember, you're the most important thing to me. This is all for your sake. It's going to be really interesting to see how in the world this all ties together and actually makes sense. But I'm excited to see how it's going to do so. Ooh, right in the face. Yeah, this is more or less what I expected. Yeah, you don't care if I hate you? Well, I already do. Understandably. Like, completely understandably. But then why? Why? And he can't be told the answer. His dad is the only person he can put this frustration on. Like, now he doesn't fully understand, but he gets the general idea of why it is that Koharu has to be here. Like, why this is going down. So all he can do is lash out. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. She said sorry. Did her word create another demon or like spirit or whatever? But also, like, she's a blind girl who just left. That's very worrying. Okay, yeah, I see how that goes. Like, yeah, you were hurt too because of Karu, but you're more concerned for her. After finding how scary Karu's ability is, I wonder how many people will be concerned for her feelings. Like, as weird as the setup is like, it makes sense. He is definitely an empathetic person. Like, he was a good choice to be this person who has to take care of Koharu. Like, regardless of what other extenuating circumstances need to be there to make him be in the situation. Like, it makes sense. Yeah, I am super into this dynamic right now. I think it's awesome. Okay, so she'd have to float. But she can't see, so I can't. Yeah, it's the same reason she doesn't speak. That her ability can't hurt others, so that others' fears don't materialize, so that others' mo isn't awakened. Okay, the one condition for monsters to materialize is to know that they exist. Right. Oh, that actually ties super well into the idea of like a conceptual reason for why he can't tell his son everything. Like, if the monsters themselves are conceptual in nature, then it might be something where, like, if you're told the truth, but you have the wrong idea about it, or you don't fully understand it, or you don't, like, learn it on your own, then there's some sort of trigger in there that leads to bad things happening. This is actually very similar to Chainsaw Man. Like, coming right off of Chainsaw Man, this feels so extremely similar. Like, it's the same idea of essentially the collective unconscious. This idea of, like, everyone together having some sort of, like, unconscious impact upon the worlds, especially when it comes to, like, their fears. Things that can't be seen don't exist. We believe that they're impossible. Because of that, humans don't realize the monster exists. Okay. This ignorance let humans seal this truth of the existence of monster eggs in a box. We call this box Mo. So, oh, that's a really cool idea. Like, it's very anti-Buddhist in a way. Like, it's all about the idea that, like, oh, and it fits a shonen series so well too. Because the whole idea of it is like ignorance isn't like it's not weakness, it's strength. Because people don't know about them, they're not powerful. Like if everyone were to know, like again, if we go back to that flashback in chapter 1 or that flash forward in chapter 1, like if she were to say like, "Hey guys, monsters exist," and people were to truly believe it, all of their monsters would start manifesting immediately. Yeah, okay. She can open up these Mo boxes. So like it's not even as simple as saying like, hey, monsters exist. Like if I were to say that to someone, they wouldn't immediately manifest a monster because like that ignorance is just that powerful. Like it's so strong that even if someone were to sit down and genuinely deeply consider the idea of a monster existing, like that layer of ignorance would still be too strong for a normal person to crack. Like you have to use Koharu's ability to do it. Ah, I see. So, like, I was thinking of it logistically, like, you know, she's blind, so she can't float away. Like, she can float in rooms, but she can't physically float away, or else, you know, she won't be able to figure out how to land. But it's that simple. Like, just seeing someone, seeing her float would be enough to break open someone's Mo. Also, I wonder if that means that our main character doesn't have Mo anymore. Like, because he's been awakened, like, his ignorance is gone. Does that mean that he'll constantly, like, create monsters, or does it mean that, like, he can't anymore? Like, it's all been used up? Ah, I can understand that. Like, it is fundamentally a curse. I can see why they would keep her around. Fundamentally, because, you know, people deserve to live. But also, because I can see this power being useful in certain cases. Like, if someone's Mo is actually a thing preventing them from moving forward, if you can use it in negative ways, like if someone's Mo is itself a curse, like if their ignorance has prevented them from, like, you know, seeing things in real life, then she could be useful as a way to break that open. Like to destroy someone's deeply held, like, ignorant beliefs, maybe, perhaps? I could see something like that happening. Okay, she can't go anywhere where she'd be seen by anyone other than us. Oh, she's probably in the black room herself. Because, like, it's not a pitch black room to her, so she'd be fine with it. And it's a place where he ran out of, so he wouldn't want to go back to it. Unless he knew that, you know, she was there. Yeah, she's hiding so I can have peace of mind. Right now, I bet she's somewhere she thinks I won't go near. Okay, it's definitely it. Okay, that feels a little iffy. Like, she can float. It wouldn't surprise me if she could pass through walls, too. That feels a bit like, like, do you not know? Although, there is a, like, there's a window up there, which I assume, like, it looks a little frayed, so maybe she's kind of, like, floated her way into there. Though it was meant to be pitch black, so I don't know how a window could be there then. Okay. The reason there isn't any monster here right now is because I just defeated your fear. But once you feel that fear again, it'll come rushing out. Okay. Oh, that's a really neat idea then. So like, in order for him to like be by her side, he has to never have fear again. Or else it'll instantly manifest into a monster. Or what I can think of right now is I assume he's gonna have to go in there and then legitimately defeat that monster, most likely using his father's Nuibo. And that'll be the thing we saw in the you know, like the teaser image for the series. Yep, that staff can defeat those monsters, right? Don't try to lie to me. But yeah, Kaharu left because she thinks I'm scared of her. If you go get her, she'll take off again. That's why it's gotta be me. Oh man, our MC is legitimately like he's definitely nutting up. Yeah, he's afraid. He knows as soon as he goes in, that monster's gonna manifest, but he's gotta face his fears, literally. When I think about her sacrificing herself so that others don't get hurt, it hurts me right here. When Kaharu's in pain, I'm in pain too. So in order to stop this pain, I've gotta be the one to protect her. Yeah, it is like it's a straight parallel to what he said before. Like, they are legitimately both self-sacrificing. Okay, if things get dicey, retreat immediately, I'll kill the monster. Okay, fair enough. Like, So it's not even a thing of, well, you've committed to this, I'm not going to help you. He is saying, like, outright, I will help, just, if you need it. And that's true. Like, in the first chapter, he said, I will never leave you alone. In the second chapter, we're immediately, like, backing that up. We're saying that, yes, he wasn't lying. That is the absolute truth. He is not going to leave her alone. The only one here who's done something wrong is Pops. Besides, I don't think your ability or these monsters are scary. True, like, even though he is technically kind of lying about it, at the same time, like, he has to convince himself of it. Like, he knows now that impossible things are possible. He knows that these monsters can be defeated, so all he's got to do is do it. He's got to hit that home run. This is actually, like, the perfect shonen second chapter. Because it is, like, it's taking everything from the first chapter and just expanding upon it. But it is clearly paralleling the very first chapter. Like, it's a negative in a way, in the sense that, like, it's not super special, but it is a positive in that, like, it's using the formula, but it's using it really, really well. That's why right here, right now, I've got to hit a home run. All right, all right. If I can defeat this monster, you and me, we're going to talk about a lot of things from now on. And that's where we're ending it. Good chapter, good chapter. It really was the perfect second chapter. So I'm sticking that. I feel like it's got to be... I want to put it, like, above... Maybe above Actage? No, actually, I'm going to put it above Actage, but below Black Clover. Or, no, the other way around. Below Actage, above Black Clover. Man, it feels so bad to me, though. Like, I might have to bump up Black Clover once all is said and done, because it feels weird to really bury it compared to everything else when it was genuinely a very good chapter. Alright, coming out right off of The Last Saiyuki, we have our new jumpstart, Yui Kamio Let's Loose, Chapter 1. This seems to be the not white-haired girl from the cover image. I'm not going to try and, like, dig too deeply into it in a meta sense, but, like, because it's from the guy who did Nura, I have to assume it's probably not going to be another... I mean, the fact that we have all these monks around makes me think it's probably going to be another Exorcist series, or, like, something involving yokai. But I don't know if he would do that, because, like, his last series was about yokai, and it was it was a big popular Jump series. It was like 25 chapters or like 25 volumes, not 25 chapters. If it was 25 chapters, I would assume this would just be like a soft reboot. But no, we've got all these, like, monks chanting, this girl struggling. The power of Sanzo Hoshi lies within the chain. With it, we can seal away her power. So she is Yui. Okay, but she wasn't the one chained. Yeah, Yui Kamio Let's Loose by Hiroshi Shibashi. This is giving me a big Rosario to Vampire feel. Like, this reminds me a lot of Mocha, actually. Yeah, that makes so much sense. Because that would also be the pun here, like, Let's Loose. Like, when she's all chained up, she's like inner Mocha. Or, she's like outer Mocha. And then when she unchains herself, she's like inner Mocha. Yeah, and even this, like, she's got the very gentle eyes here and the very, like, demonic eyes here. Okay, I'd be into this. Like, I was super into Rosario to Vampire. But, like, the part about it that made me like it the least was honestly the harem thing. Like, I'm okay with harems. I'm a big fan of harem series. Well, not a big fan, but there are a few harem series that I've really loved. The main thing I didn't like in Rosario, though, was that the main character was 100% the final main girl. Like, it was just understood. And I do appreciate the power of a harem series to be about relationships, to be about, like, character interactions. All the other girls aren't just love interests, they're also, like, characters that can be developed over time. So, if this would be like Rosario, but just without the other girls, I'd be super into that. Especially because, by its very nature, I assume she's going to be, two girls in one almost. Oh, Mr. Keto. Okay. So this is our, like, center, like, the guy who was in the center of the volume cover, or the I guess it is a volume, right? What is this right now? Like, what is Jump? Does Jump come in volumes? Okay, so he seems like a very big high roller, like, high school student. Which party? You think I keep track of stuff like that? Okay. So he has friends, but they don't seem to all be, like, super high class like he is. Oh, they're the super ultra elites. They call them the life lovers. If only there was a girl who could make an impression on me. Okay, so is it going to be like her falling into his lap, or are we doing the inner outer mocha thing? Oh my god, yes we are. Yes we are. Because I also did notice, like, when I saw the Phantom Black sailor uniform, like, they are both wearing sailor uniforms. So I have to assume, like she does a complete, like, design change whenever her chain gets taken off. Vengeance for now. Oh my god, this is amazing. Okay, it wasn't even like, just the three most popular. It was like all the boys around them. I mean, that's one heck of an impression. Also, she's got the big high kicks, which, I mean, I know I have like no evidence to prove this, but man, the Rosario comparisons are just like piling upon one another. No, I'm not done killing them. Okay. So that's why she was so mad. Like, now is actually her friend. She's not just by herself. Interesting. Because it does seem like this is the real her. So then that begs the question, like, what is this outer version of her? What is this outer Yui? Like, is she just a constructed design? Like, is she a constructed personality? Or is she actually Yui Kamio just with, like, certain things removed or repressed? Yeah, that's wild. That is one heck of a change. I also do love, like, the extreme character design change, because first of all, it does allow you to actually say, like, which design do you like better? While at the same time, like, it means that she can feasibly do things as, uh, I hope they have terminology in the series, but I guess I'll just call them, like, outer Yui and inner Yui for now. Like, it allows outer or, like, inner Yui to actually do stuff and, get the cops called on her and stuff, and then she changes back, and then it's not a problem because they look like completely different people. I think that's such a cool idea. Ah, that day. Ever since that day, I've seen this time and time again, yet still blows my mind. But okay, so that is the big gimmick. Like, the chain cannot slip no matter what. The real heroine? Wait, it's been a week. We did a 1 week time skip just now. Also, nice pattern. I see what you're doing there. All the girls are gone because of her, even my best groupies. I'd be cool with this. Like, I'd be cool if we had almost a Kaguya style thing where we have like two protagonists, like where Yui is, the main female protagonist, and he's like constantly trying to figure out who she is. Yeah, I do love this too because, as he said, like he just wanted a girl who left an impact on him. Like this girl is very traditionally feminine, whereas Lady in Black, like, I mean, first of all, he hates her, but also I think that'll eventually turn into love, just based on his character archetype. Like he is the super rich boy who's never been stood up to, and then finally someone kicked him in the face. This reminds me a little of the Last Saiyuki. Like the idea of having this like powerful female character, and then this other person who is basically just like tasked to like constantly keep an eye on them. But Yui's much more like forward. She is definitely the main character. Yeah, excuse me, don't you go to my school? Like, what were you doing? You looked real suspicious there. Okay. So it does seem like she does remember it completely. Like, even though the chain coming off was an accident, it seems like she definitely understood what was happening back then. Okay. To come all the way out here, you must be really serious about your studies. So here's the question. Like, is she completely innocent? Is she genuinely innocent here? Or is she just using like, is she also trying to get revenge, but in a like more proper way? Because I think that'd be cool too. One of the big problems I had with Rosario was like, the weird focus. The fact that if you really liked Inner Mocha, cool, but you're kind of out of luck because even though that's the real one, she's constantly chained up and you'll only get to see her like 1 or 2 pages per chapter. So, like, if outer Yui can be as good as inner Yui, I'd be super into it. Lots of very normal gangsters around, or like normal delinquents. But are they going after him or her? I assume her. Because, like, this isn't the school outfit, right? This is definitely, like, this is some high fashion. Okay. Interesting. So, this is a neat motivation. It's not a completely goofy one. Like, it's not serious enough that I could see the series making jokes about it. Like, it's trivial enough, I should say, that I could see the series making jokes about it. But at the same time, like, it does give him a little more depth. Yeah, that is legitimately a cool goal. Like, especially because being a veterinarian is not something that makes a lot of money. Like, if he's super duper ultra privileged and he wants to be a vet and he wants to, like, pour money into taking care of animals, I'm cool with that. So it seems like he is going to fall for her. Like, are we going to do a love triangle with 2 people? I'd be down with that. Okay, and immediately trying to cover for him. No, he's a veritable saint. Come on, you gotta cover for him. He said he was looking for a good burial place for his poor goldfish that passed away so young. Yeah, like that was legitimately a good cover, but like it integrated actual actual character motivations in a way that doesn't give him away, but at the same time, like, it means that he's not going to forget about it. He's not going to slip. Like, if someone mentions the goldfish, he'll be like, "Oh, yeah, it was that lie, sure." Ah, okay. So, the delinquents did notice him. I'm not sure how. Like, the outfit he's wearing is definitely not the school uniform, but whatever. Or actually, maybe they noticed her school uniform and then concluded, like, okay, so if that uniform was there, then that has to be our guy. Therefore, we have to go and fight him. If you lay a finger on me, you're gonna end up paying damages for the rest of their life, you know? Yeah, I don't think they care. I think they're gonna beat the tar out of him. Oh, wait, what? Okay, so it was 100% her uniform they were looking for. But why? I can't imagine it's something that she did, like that outer Yui did. Because, like, I assume it's inner Yui that is the one that would have, like, picked a fight with a bunch of delinquents. And she looks completely different. There's no way they would have recognized her. Especially because, like, her Sailor Fuku legitimately does change. Unless they saw her transform. Okay. They remember her from all the way back then. That is something I didn't consider. Like with series like this, where there is, a big secret switch, sometimes you do have characters from back then, but they usually don't know that, the new character's design is, belongs to the old character. I guess it's because, like, she didn't change her name or anything. I do like the very light amount of comedy in the series. Like, it's nothing that I've laughed at, but it's, like, I've enjoyed it. I remember you with your long, wild black hair flying around as you literally massacred people like they weren't even human. Okay, so he's gonna learn this right now. Like, that's not the pretense for the whole series. Okay. Now here's the question, like, is it going to accidentally come off, or is it something where, like, she knows that she can take it off? Okay, so it wasn't accidents. And it didn't just take it off, it, like, broke the chain. Here we go. Here's the transformation. Oh, that is a good character design. I also really do appreciate like, the checker mark. Is that a scarf? We've seen it a bunch of times before. Is it a scarf? No, it isn't. It's just, like, a part of their school uniform. It's a really interesting school uniform, I've gotta say, like, it's very distinctive. But I do appreciate that, like, it has a perfect reverse negative. It is neat that she keeps, like, some of the chains. Not all of them, but, like, at least one of them's wrapped around her wrist here. Like, I could see her using them as a weapon. Ah, I remember you, one of the 100 branded by my fists. God, she is legitimately sadistic. Like, that's pretty rough. I like it though. Like, I appreciate that she is genuine. Like, she has this glee to her fighting style. It's really nice. Like, again, doing the Rosario comparisons, she's not as serious as Inamoka, which I really appreciate. Like, I feel like I'm going to like her going forward, for sure. Don't worry, it's their blood. This is a nice way to rinse off when I'm freed. Yeah, I've got to imagine, like, if she doesn't consent to this, then she has to be, like, a 10 out of 10 best in the world hairstylist to tie her up her hair, like, every single time. Though I assume also, like, Yui probably isn't using her full power to stop her, just because they're friends. Yeah, I mean, both of them combined is definitely, like, that's an impression. That's one heck of an impression. I've really never met a girl like this. And that is how I, Kito Sonomiya, met a girl who changes her personality when her hair is tied, named Yui Kamio, and found my awesome life in the upper crust dumped into a sea of chaos. Okay, this is interesting. Like, it's definitely not a yokai series, which I'm into. Like, there is a vague supernatural elements, but I assume, I mean, I don't want to make big assumptions, but I hope it's kind of like Hayate the Combat Butler, or like there is a supernatural elements, but we can do like a bunch of arcs that don't include it at all. Like, just the personality switching is cool enough. Like, I think that could carry the series for quite a bit without having to delve into like other spirits and stuff. Yeah, overall, I'm into it. I like all the characters so far. They all seem pretty cool. The design of the series is interesting enough. I'm not going to say it's the greatest, but like the art style is better than Nura, I would say. Like, one of the reasons I stopped reading Nura is just because, like, it bugged me. I didn't like it that much. This seems more interesting. The balance of like seriousness and comedy is really appealing. I appreciate that I actually didn't laugh at any of the jokes, as weird as that sounds. Like, I appreciate that the jokes were background noise. They were just there to make things work better. Like, they were just greasing the wheel, basically. I think that's something a lot of series could stand to do more of. Like, one of the reasons I love Breaking Bad is because, as great of a drama as it is, there's also a ridiculous amount of comedy in it. And a big part of it, like most of it did not make me laugh, but I appreciated it nonetheless because it changed the mood of the series. It made it less, horribly oppressive. In the same way, like if the series can use comedy to make itself feel light and puffy and upbeat without like actually being a comedy series, I'd be into that. Um, like it was a solid first chapter. I'm definitely looking forward to the second chapter. I think for now I'm going to put it. I mean, it was really good. I guess I'll put it above Black Clover. Actually, no, I'll put it above the Last Saiyuki. Not above Act Dodge though. But like, it was a good series. I have a lot of hope for it going forward. All right, that was the pre-recorded segment. Now it's time for the more pre-recorded segments. This is usually what I live stream, but I can't do that this week. Like, it's just not going to happen. So we're going to start off the more pre-recorded series with We Never Learn, Chapter 102. The Ice Flower Dances with Exit Twilight, Part 3. We've got both versions of Sensei, both her normal Sensei form and her very, like, rare, very hard to find dancing form, which looks really good. Like, I'm so curious to see how this arc's going to turn out. I also feel like this is probably going to be the final part. Like, unless she's genuinely going to go for skating again, I think this is going to be the part where she finally resolves herself. I can understand that, though. Like, if you feel that awful, I think there's no shame in taking a day off or two. Like, just get your headspace in order. Like, sure, you can go in and you can do a terrible job, but I think it just makes more sense to use some of your off time to just fix yourself. And then you go in and you do things right. Okay, Naruki just showed up. All right, take off your clothes right now. Sorry, that came out wrong. I need to wear a costume because we're going on an excursion. I mean, considering what Yuiga lives, considering his life, I understand why he said that. Like, he's just used to it at this point. Like, he's willing to just say the thing that is going to be misinterpreted because that's just how life is. Everything you say is going to be misinterpreted. It's all going to come out looking super edgy. I also appreciate that, whereas in the past, he would have actually been super flustered and, like, he wouldn't have gotten to it. In this case, he immediately, like, within 2 panels, he was like, nope, okay, never mind. Here is the exact thing I meant to say, in detail. Okay. What's with this costume? I also like appreciate that this is the costume she was wearing here, but her hair is different. It doesn't look like it's this amount of hair tied up. I guess it could be, but it looks like. Actually, let's see. Let's see if she does tie up her hair in this chapter. I don't think so. Like that looks like it's a bun, but it seems like a bun you would have to have like less hair to make. Like it seems like her hair's too voluminous. Like there's too much volume to it. Though at the same time, I'm basing this off of like my own experience with my own hair, and my hair has a ridiculous amount of volume. Whereas I feel like if she has very flat, very, calm hair, it probably could compress itself into that. It'd be fine. I mean, yeah, she is a sensei, so appeal to her on both of those. I mean, the whole advice that Yuga's following right now is this idea of, when I'm super stressed out and I don't know what to do, I go for a run. In this case, it's if you don't know what to do between teaching or skating, then take her out, make her skate, and make her teach you. Make her do both things at once, and then maybe that'll be what clears her up her minds. If you have time for this, shouldn't you be studying? Nah, we never learn. It's fine. Yeah, this is good advice, and I appreciate that he got this good advice from a girl who is a cool person. It's just wisdom borrowed from Takemoto. All right, come on, let's do this. Let's. Oh, wait, what? Can she not? Ah, I have no right to set foot in a rink. Nah, I don't think that's correct. Like, I hope this arc is trying to say that, like, even if you stop something for a while, even if you mess up, you can still get back on it. You can still, resolve yourself. As an athlete and as a teacher, I did everything half-baked. In both roles, I failed to live up to my potential. Oh, that distinctive style fingering, that raw home recorded sounds. Was it the girl that she gave bad advice to? Okay. How did she do this? Or how did Yuiga do this? How in the world? I didn't get into music school, but I play in an indie band. I love my life. Like, that is such a good resolution to this girl's story, too. Like, she wasn't just a disposable character used to put Sensei into a certain state of mind. The series respects her enough to give her, like, an actual, like, resolution to say that, yeah, she was mad at Sensei before, sure. Like, yeah, she's a teenager, why not? But after that, she was able to resolve herself. And she didn't waste all the time playing piano. She does still play piano. It's still like a thing she likes to do, even if she's not the greatest at it. Ah. As for this Yuiga guy, he went on a total wild goose chase to track me down. Oh my gosh. And of course, gotta catch him before he hits the grounds. No, you did this. Come on, Yuiga. You committed to this. Like, you made her get on the field. Now you've got to take her lessons. Didn't you say you wanted a private lesson? Man, I've got to say, this is also a fantastic panel. Like, this is a good ship moment, but this is just a legitimately stunning sensei moment. Like, I don't think there's a ton of moments where I'd say, like, yeah, this is what makes sensei a potential best girl. But I do think this is definitely meant for that. Like, more so than just being his sensei. Like a flower blooming in full splendor against an icy backdrop. Okay. So, like, putting it right into his hands. What do you really want of me? Do you want me to continue teaching, or do you want me to go back to figure skating? Like, it's her decision, but at the same time, like, Yuiko was the one who put her in this situation. I can understand. Like, it's fair to ask him, like, hey, like, what is your ulterior motive? What do you want? And even if he says, it's up to you, like, I think the question itself is still a valid question to ask, at the very least. Okay, I don't care which one you choose. What I want is, I want to make you happy. Oh no. Oh, da dum da dum da dum da dum. Okay, this is a moment that would be amazingly animated. Like, I have high hopes for the We Never Learn anime, but I really hope it gets a sequel. Because a lot of my favorite We Never Learn moments are definitely going to take place like way afterwards. Though it depends. Like, from what we've seen, because Kominami is in the anime, I have to assume they're either going to adapt a lot or they're going to skip things in order to like adapt to just like the important moments. Either way, like I could see them doing a lot of the manga. Okay, yeah, and like she doesn't have to deal with the horrible paparazzi buzz all the time. It seems like at the very least she's going to keep on teaching now, but I don't know. I kind of hoped that they wouldn't do that. I was hoping that she would like pursue her dreams, even though like I know logically it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Wait, what? I guess it's in your blood. We have never ever had any indication that she knew that like she knew his dad. But that has to be hints towards that, right? Either his dad or maybe his mom? But that's very interesting. I guess it's in your blood. Hmm. Ah, okay. So that's what we're doing. Like, she has fundamentally decided no, she's not going to skate again, but she is going to try and reconnect with her parents. Aw, there's no need to cry. Because I have to imagine, like, she doesn't seem like she's having a great time living on her own. I have to imagine she must have left her parents as soon as she could once she decided to stop skating. I mean, we saw that actually. Yeah, we did. We saw like when she was starting off as a student teacher, she had her own apartment. Like that was when we saw it super dirty for the very first time. So this might be the first time in a long time since she's talked to her parents. Ah, that is extremely heartwarming. I would put that like I mean, how do I not make that super high? God, We Never Learn is such a consistently fantastic series. Uh, I feel like Chainsaw Man's a little better than it, but this was a fantastic big like climax moment. So I'm gonna put it above it. Like We Never Learn just has this feel to it. It is like it's a series I can always turn to just enjoy myself. It is fundamentally just a better series than a lot of the other series in Jump. All right, that was We Never Learn. Next is One Piece, chapter 935, Queen. Okay, so we are finally getting some actual Queen focus, which I'm excited about. Like, of the character designs we've seen for the calamities, my favorite is definitely King. I think King looks super cool. I like the whole like crazy bondage gear going on. But I think Queen also has a really interesting design. And I'm super into like characters that are flamboyant without being like Okama. I mean, by the very nature of, the name Queen and some of the things we've seen before, it seems like Queen might be kind of like that, but I hope not. Like, I appreciate the Okama for what they are at One Piece, but I'd kind of like to see just a character that is like Queen, if that makes any sense. I want Queen to be Queen. I want Queen to be what I think Queen is in my head, which I don't want to elaborate about in case it turns out to not be true. So we'll just read the chapter, and if Queen is different, then we'll figure it out. Like, I'll explain what I wanted to say. Okay, someone stole the key to the Sea Prism Stone Cuffs. Was it Luffy? This is such a cool design. Oh, like some sort of boar, maybe? Or, no, the 6 arms, though. Like it can't be a spider, though. Like, we've already seen an arachnid of some sort. I don't know if it was it a spider or was it a scorpion? The monkey smile fruit. What? Wait, really? How? I mean, I guess the horns could just be part of the helmet then. And the monkey tail, I didn't notice that at first, but yeah, that's very monkey-like. But then why the arms? Like, why 6 arms? Oh, actually. Okay, so if we go under the assumption that that most of the smiles have like the literal animal that is like, part of them in a way that most Zoans aren't. Like, like the average horse type Zoan wouldn't be a centaur. But oh, what was her name? The one we've seen before, the one that ate the millet dumpling. Like Speed? Was it Speed? Like she was a centaur, or like, all the others. What if, oh my god, what if Solitaire is actually like a monkey? Like, what if she has a monkey on her back, literally? Because, like, I could see these two being her real arms, and then this is like 2 monkey arms, and then these are like 2 more monkey arms? Oh, no, 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 monkey legs. Yeah, because I don't know if they have like feet that are exactly like hands. That might be a bit of, I mean, it's One Piece. So maybe it's supposed to be like 2 of these are arms, 2 of these are legs, 2 of these are her normal arms. And then like she's got the monkey on her back, and then like it'll start chittering at some points. I'd be down for that. Just because a guy can only walk sideways. Okay, that's a good gag. Like, seriously, I love the smiles so much. I also appreciate that, like, most devil fruits aren't like this, or like most zones aren't like this, because it means that a lot of the zones are very serious. Like, there's a lot of potential to them. But then we can have these, which are super gag-like, without wasting any of them. Did she just ook? Oh my gosh. Search everywhere, even in the rafters. Oh, actually, because it's got all these like weird like knobs on her what if she has the monkey head like literally on the top of her head? So like if she takes off the mask, it's just a monkey screaming. I'd be into that. Man, Raizo's oh, he's a ninja, all right. He's a weird ninja. Every time I see him, it's like, oh boy, this a ninja? But okay, so he's got the key. The first rule of the excavation labor camp in Udon, anyone who talks back to a guard sentenced. Okay. Man, that's rough. Like, I mean, after a double arm amputation, what can you do? Like, how do you do anything? At that point, you're basically just dead. And then double leg amputation, like, at that point, you're just a pillow. Like, how are you supposed to work in the labor camp then? But either way, doesn't matter, because they struck a guard. Okay, so this was the scorpion guy that we saw before. Yeah, no excuses this time. So, I mean, Luffy's completely blown his cover. He has to get out now. Raizo needs to show up with that key right now. And I assume, like, because of the name of the chapter, oh yeah, also, Queen is right outside. Like, we saw the Queen fan club before. So I imagine, like, Luffy's going to fight all these wardens, even while cuffed. Queen's going to show up, and then, like, when it's going to be Luffy versus Queen, then finally Raizo will show up and get him the key. Ooh, he should only be capable of a bare minimum of movement. Yeah, so that's pretty nuts. The fact that Luffy can fight like this, that he's this powerful even with the cuffs on. We can't have people ignore the laws of physics. I wonder then, like, in that case, could someone who is a devil fruit user eventually become immune to the sea? Or, like, not immune, because clearly, like, Luffy is struggling with these cuffs. Like, the cuffs don't seem to, like, scale at all. But he is, like, he's doing more than anyone else should be able to. So, could you eventually become so powerful that you could move a little, like, when you're completely submerged in water? Like, not enough that it's a deep, like, that's a big threat, but enough that, like, you could feasibly, like, walk out of the ocean. elephant's Marchu. So the elephant sneezes and it has the power of like a cannonball. Gotta admit, this is a cool idea. He's got this giant, almost Kamen Rider-y belt. Like, it's got sort of the windmill thing going on. It's a cool design. I also appreciate that it's slightly higher up than Hold'em. So it's not like the exact same design. Oh boy, oh boy. Ah, Komarasaki, you're so adorable. I'm plagued with excitement. Okay, so Queen at the very least is bi, which I did not expect, honestly. I genuinely didn't. But okay, like that's also really cool. Like I'm cool with Queen being super super like flamboyant, but also being like, you know, bi at the very least. Oh boy. If I get any thinner, I'll steal all your hearts. So I choose the way I am. I stay funky. Oh my god. This is. I feel like Oda must. I mean, like Oda's done crazy musical moments before, but I feel like we've definitely gotten more than New Worlds. I want to see this in the Actually, no. I feel like the biggest ones we got were in Thriller Bark, which, you know, was not the New Worlds. Like we had like 2 in Thriller Bark. Now that I think about it. But yeah, I love these. I love this one especially. This is fantastic. I could not have asked for a funkier dude. Oh, he even has the Kingpin thing going on, where like the Kingpin looks fat in Marvel Comics, but it's all muscle somehow. The same way, I assume this really is all muscle. He could just be goofing around too, but I think that'd be a cool idea if it really is all muscle. Plaguealicious. Okay, Queen the Plague, 1.32 billion berries. Like these lead performers are pretty nuts. All right, Babanuki, give me your ranking. Wait. Top 3 things you're worried about. What? Are we doing this? I recently just rewatched a thing that is all about like top 5s. Are we doing this? Okay, number 3, Eustace Kid escaped. What? Number 2, someone stole the key to the sea for some stone cups. What? And number 1, Straw Hat Luffy's escaping as we speak. Oh my god. Okay, that was a fantastic bit. Like, so far, I mean, we haven't seen King do very much apart from, you know, kicking the boat, but even that wasn't as like OP as I thought it was going to be. So Queen is definitely my favorite of all the disasters now. With the way everyone's starving to death left and right, you've got your pick of the litter. Oh boy, are we gonna do this? Are we gonna see like Sanji at the bathhouses finally? Because I mean, it's Wano. Like Japan's all about those bathhouses. If anywhere's gonna have bathhouses to peep in, it's got to be here. Bathhouse Flower Capital. Oh boy, come on, Sanji. We might not have any enemies, but I feel like I need to start charging money. Oh boy. Oh, I didn't expect mixed bathing. Okay. That feels real weird. Like, that's definitely not a normal Japanese thing. Oh my god. Ah, she's the best. She really is the best. Of all the ninja we've seen so far, she's definitely the greatest. Without a doubt. The Ninpo Ball Crusher is my favorite technique so far. Like, of all the new techniques we've seen in Wano as a whole. This also does feel real bad. Like the fact that Sanji can finally peep naked, but he's in a place where you don't have to peep. Where like you can just open-facedly be in the bath and look at women naked. Like, of all the luck, Sanji truly has the worst luck in the world. He really is the Luigi of One Piece. I mean, it does make sense that she wouldn't be able to wash her own back, but man, I was really hoping that she was just like comically large, but like still capable of moving like a normal person as opposed to being actually like obese with all sorts of weird folds. Okay, bringing up Hyogoro again. Like, I feel like Luffy's gotta save him as well, because like we built him up so much, but I don't know what else he could do. Like, it doesn't seem like he has any more power in this world. If only Boss Hyogoro the Flower was still around, we could have rustled up all the samurai at once. Okay, so he still even had the glasses back then. Is this like a devil fruit ability, or is it just like his hair? Because I mean, he did go bald, so I guess if this is just what his hair normally looks like, we wouldn't know. Okay, when Lord Odin was young, he admired Boss Hyogoro's character. Like, Lord Odin is, you know, the big guy, the guy that everyone admired in this, like in Wano so far. But now we have the guy behind the guy who is also still alive. So he's much bigger. Like, he's a much bigger deal than I thought he was. Oh my god. It's the octopus. The octopus is back. Okay, this could be, like, devastatingly important. Oh, okay, so there are multiple, actually. Okay, just as they said, they're the Bath Boys. I looked up and I saw that Shinobu's also being massaged by one. Okay, but they're all dressed like the one that's got the straw hats here. It has to be one of them in particular. Like, I refuse to believe, like, it's all of them. It has to be, like, one rogue octopus doing this for some reason. Okay, of all the rotten timing, I have the key right here. But I mean, as much as he is a ninja, I completely do not believe that Raizo could get there without blowing his cover. And it is important to maintain his cover. Like, that's the whole point. Like, everyone needs to assemble in secret. If just Raizo reveals himself, then by extension, Lord Orochi will be spooked. He's already pretty spooked. He's scared of the ghosts. If he knows for a fact that Raizo is there in person, then he's gonna freak out. Okay. Years ago, Kaido and Orochi spent quite a lot of time trying to woo you to our side. Okay. And even now, like, even as a shriveled up old man. Also, okay, so that is just his hair. I thought he was completely bald before. But yeah, you can see it's just like a tiny bit of like hair, and he still has the beard a bit. Still not sure if it's actually fire or if it just looks like it, but I assume it's not real fire. It's gotta just be like the way it looks. Okay, what is Queen gonna do? Like, I'm hoping it's going to be some sort of big gamble. Wait, what? Oh, it's the mysterious man. The man who, eats the poison fishes and spits up all the poison. It's me. Wait, Karamatsu? Like the... Oh, Kawamatsu. I don't believe we had the name show up. I'm gonna do the dangerous thing as always and quickly search up Kawamatsu One Piece. No, this is all stuff we've already... Like, it's all stuff we knew about the mysterious figure, I guess. Okay. Like, I was just afraid that we'd heard his name not connected to this mysterious figure. And, like, then I was missing something. It's a neat cliffhanger, sort of. Overall, I mean, it was One Piece. One Piece it's a good series, but I don't think it'll very rarely ever be, like, my top ranking series. Like, the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, a One Piece chapter is a One Piece chapter. They're so very rarely stand out to me. I guess I'm gonna put this... I guess here's the question. I do think the Last Saiyuki was better than this chapter. Was it better than Black Clover? I guess I'll put it below Black Clover. Because, like, this was a very average One Piece chapter, whereas the Black Clover chapter was... I would say it's also average, but it's average in a different way. Like, some big stuff happened. It was exciting. It made my heart race. But it just wasn't like, it's not like a big arc-changing thing. Alright, so that was One Piece. Next is The Promised Neverland, chapter 126. Ah, Dominic's finally getting better. I'm really glad that we are treating this as, like, a serious, horrible injury that he has to, spend a lot of time recovering from. It also means that, like, Emma can't do anything that forces all the Gracefield kids to immediately, like, pick up and leave. Because, like, he is still recovering. Ooh, and Chris is still, like, unconscious. Chapter 126, a 3-person talk. I hope that refers to Norman, Ray, and Emma. Like, I'm hoping that they, like, actually hash everything out. Or Norman and Emma finally tell him about Mujika. Norman finally says, like, maybe why he's not doing that or whatever. Like, I don't want them to keep secrets from one another just for the sake of keeping secrets. That seems so artificial to me. Yeah, okay. I didn't expect them to be so full of hatred. Yeah, I understand that. I can definitely appreciate that. Like, Oliver and his friends were all like, they hated those specific demons, but even then, they weren't like, we need to eat demons. Like, demons must suffer. I want to kill all of them. Like, right now, they are just because the idea has been presented to them. But even then, like, even being oppressed by those demons, all they thought was, these specific hunters need to be killed. They weren't like, we need to genocide the demons. Okay, it's not because of any empathy for the demons. I was scared of the depth of hatred in front of my eyes. I can understand that too. Like, I do think Emma does have some empathy for the demons. Like, that's been the last few chapters. But I also think that, like, she's saying that, this, like, regardless of empathy, it was just that pure hatred that scared me so much. Right, even Mujika and those demon children probably don't know anything either, right? Yeah, oh, he's even bringing it up. Once you start hating, it won't stop and keeps ballooning. And it's a chain of hatred, and nothing can be done about it. It's the, like, Surprisingly enough, of all the manga I've ever read, I feel like Naruto does the best when it comes to like explaining the cycle of hatred. Like it is a very shonen and anti-shonen thing. Like it's a very anti-shonen thing to say like, hey, here's the cycle, we should break it. Like we shouldn't have this thing that leads to, lots of battles and lots of possibilities for future escalation of fights and stuff. But because of that, like I appreciate any series that is willing to point that out, that is willing to say like, yeah, like this cycle exists. And regardless of how you feel about it, regardless of how you personally have been affected by it, you need to keep that in mind. Yeah, that's probably what war is. Fear, poverty, a politician's scheme, mistakes made by both sides, various reasons could start a war. But once you have the chain of hatred, like, it's real difficult. Because at some point you have to say, hey, all these horrible things that happened, we're going to just say, like, we're just not going to think that's awful. We're going to just calm down and say, you know what, we forgive you. That is extremely difficult. It's very rarely happened in real life. Like, even if you manage to do it for a little while, you really just have to wait for everyone who had suffered to just die. That's the main thing. You have to just wait until everyone personally affected just ceases to exist. It's not even a thing of, getting everyone to decide what the greater good is, because it'll very rarely ever change. Like people who fully decide that, okay, I forgive these people who made my life a living hell, that's the ultra minority. The vast majority of people are going to still hold a grudge, and you just have to wait for them to all cease to exist if you want true peace. And especially with demons, like demons are so long lived. If like I think humans would be way better at deciding to create peace than the demons, because like one demon can last thousands and thousands of thousands of years, and if he has like a single grudge against humans or a single fundamental strong desire that can't be swayed, like he's going to keep that for thousands and thousands of years. I also really appreciate these kids are that smart, like that they had enough time to learn the stuff like in books and stuff, because like obviously they haven't lived through war, but they understand it. Like they have enough book knowledge to be able to talk about it philosophically. Like I really do appreciate that. It would have like one thing I really dislike is when like post-apocalyptic series, for instance, try to do this, and it's just a bunch of characters who shouldn't know about this stuff, like characters that most likely didn't go to school or like they dropped out of school, who then wax philosophical on the nature of war. And it's like, well, how do you know any of this? Like, especially once the apocalypse has happened, like once every source of information is gone, like how are you spouting all these crazy quotes? How is that possible? And again, just as I was about to have another like emotional moment, it's the boss. Norman's here. Grab Norman, shove him into a closet, start talking to him. The alliance safely formed. Okay. So they are aware about his plan, which means I assume he did give it to them as like he's not hiding the plan from them. They all understand they are going to work with the demons, but it's all so that the demons will kill each other, and then human lives won't be wasted. Okay, we have to talk to you. Get in the room. Let's go to your office. How do you plan to destroy the demons without losing one of our own? And Bray immediately just nails the head on the he immediately hits the nail on the head. Okay, so you've got the king, who we haven't seen, who presumably is not Gargablarg. That's the thing, like, a lot of people have mentioned this, that at the very start, we kind of assumed that Gargablarg was the king, but it doesn't seem like that. It seems like Gargablarg is more of a god figure almost. Like, especially that line of, food that even the king can't eat. Like, food that was meant to be sacrificed to Gargablarg, not to the king. I think that's a really cool idea because it means that Gargablarg, assumedly, is neutral. Like Emma talks to him. It's pretty obvious that like there is some way of reasoning with him, that he's not going to just be on the side of the demons. Like if you go to the Seven Walls and you talk to him, presumably he will be willing to renegotiate the promise, even if that's not what the demons themselves want. I guess he would argue on behalf of the demons. Like he would ultimately choose something that would be beneficial to both sides, something like that. At the top is the royal family and the 5 regent houses. 5 aristocrat families that have power below the royal family. I really hope one of them is going to be like Luvis's family. It could, like, with Bayan, I don't really care that much, but I really want to see someone who is like, the son of, or like the grandson of Luvis. because like I have more attachments to Luvis. I like Bayon a lot. Like I think he's fine. I think his backstory is super cool. But like because he's so plain facedly aristocratic, like I've gotten enough aristocracy from him. I don't really care that much. Whereas with Luvis, he gave me this like powerful grandpa vibe. This vibe of like, yeah, he really is just like this old man who doesn't care about his power, but he has a ton of it. Which makes me feel like he probably has some descendants who are super mad about him, who are super mad that he got killed. Right, there are some demons who are unhappy with the disparity that grows bigger every year between them and the royal family and regent houses. So even in the demon world, there's still like an inequality of class. Okay, they were framed for a crime they didn't commit 700 years ago by the royal family and the 5 regent houses. Also, I'm curious to see whether like does Norman truly believe that, or like does it not even matter to him whether whether they were framed or whether they really did it. Yeah, historically, it was said that they degenerated and turned into wild demons, but they were hiding and waiting for a chance to get their revenge for 700 years. Which I can respect. Like, I can really respect that idea of just barely struggling, forcing yourself for 700 years to maintain some level of humanity in order to eventually get your revenge. But yeah, like, and this makes sense. Like, this seems to be like, I don't agree with Norman's plan in the long run. I don't agree with the idea of once you get the demons to infight, they're going to just kill each other and then they're gone. Like, I think that's ridiculous. But I think that, like, for the plan he's coming up with, like, assuming that would actually work out, this makes sense. Okay. In addition to their vindictiveness, they have another circumstance that means they can't come after us until they achieve their revenge. Like, if Norman is saying that, then I assume it has to be like a law, basically. Like, not a law, but it has to be something where it's like it's actually not possible for them to betray the kids. Like, they have to get their revenge and then they have to betray the kids, but they can't do it before. And if it's fed deception, I won't lose. Okay. Come on, Emma, bring up, like, if she doesn't bring up Mujika by the end of this conversation, I'm going to lose my mind. It doesn't have to be this chapter, but it has to be, like, within this meeting. She has to explain, like, yeah, there are demons out, like, I do think my corpse plan makes sense, but I feel like that's endgame stuff. I don't think they can come to that immediately, and even if they could, like, that requires participation from the human world, which Norman does not have. Plus, Norman is completely willing to have Rattree clan members mass produced if necessary. So like that's not the problem. He just wants to wipe out the demons. Like they have mutually not beneficial viewpoints. So I feel like what Emma has to do right now is bring up Mujika, but not bring her up as a solution. She has to bring her up as just like, hey, this could be a problem, and then somehow worm her way into saying like, by the way, like, if this is a problem, doesn't this also mean that we can have, the demons, not need humans to survive? Maybe we could all just leave? Right, because the king and aristocrats control everything in the society. If we hit them, everything will crumble easily. Yeah, like, it is a strategy. But do you know, Norman, there are demons that aren't like that too. Okay, she's bringing it up. There are demons that won't degenerate even if they don't eat humans, and they probably don't get affected by the new things they eat either. Huh. And also, but then she stops. So what is Norman doing? Like, is he absolutely freaking out? Did he not know about this, or did he know about it? Oh, where did you hear about it? You saw her? You met her? You all actually met her? The clan of the evil-blooded girl is still alive. Okay. The clan of the evil-blooded girl. So Mujika has some stuff. Like, she's got some stuff going on. I really appreciate that. Like, ever since her arc, like, it was definitely implied that she was going to be very, very important going forward. So I'm really glad that's actually going to be the case. I mean, this could go into the thing we've said before about how she may be a half human, half demon. Like, I imagine the demons would consider someone who is genetically part human to be evil-blooded. And I could see her being some sort of, like, demon experiment. Like, there's also a lot of supernatural stuff going on with the demons too. So I could see it being something else, like they made a pact with the devil or something, regardless of whether that's true or not. Like, just through some evil machination, she was able to retain her human form, and because of that, like, that's not a real solution. But I mean, this is a big loop. I did not expect Norman to know about her already. I didn't expect there to be more to her, or like I expected there to be more to her. I didn't expect Norman to know about it. So that's a big boy of a cliffhanger. I'm sticking that. Where do I stick this? Like it was good. It was real good. I don't think it was as good as I think it was better than Lation actually. I don't think it was as good as Chainsaw Man. So I'll stick that there. Man, this was a good chapter though. Like it was very tense. And I appreciate that we were able to balance like the very human conflicts with this specifically. I really like this line. Like, it's not because of any empathy for the demons. Like, even though Emma does have some empathy for the demons, it's also like just that sheer malice there that it scares her. This idea of humans that are so filled with hatred that's like, yeah, I can understand that. I get how that could be super disconcerting. And like the whole Naruto thing, like I'm super into this. This is fantastic. The Promised Neverland is just, it's so good. It is so good. So, moving right along. Moving right along, next is Dr. Stone, chapter 97. The Joy of Leadership. We've got the radar slash sonar here. And it oh, actually, this is a mine. This is a mine. So, are we going to be like mining stuff? Because that's actually been a plot point we've kind of neglected. Or not neglected, but it's like it's been on the back burner for so long. Like from the very start, Chrome was like, hey, hopefully we can use science to find things underground better. And then we had the little mini arc with Magma where they kind of mined a little, but they were really just getting like a certain type of mineral. Like, are we finally going to do the big mining arc? Because I could see that, like, assuming the next arc is going to be, sailing across the sea, going to South America, then, like, there's not a whole lot of time for this. That's the thing. There's no set time frame for them to go and, figure out, go to the epicenter of the blast or to find the Y person. The main thing, though, is like, they need to get all the stuff they're going to do in the village done now before they leave. Because even if the series does continue on after they find the stuff, like I do think it will. I don't think the series will end once they figure out what caused the stoning. I feel like that's just going to be like, okay, we have a better idea of why the stoning happened. We get it. We have an indication of who the final boss will be. I don't think they're going to meet the final boss, but I think they're going to understand them. At that point, I assume they're going to go back to the village, and then the next big arc is going to be like, how do we make this thing that will like use some other principle that we don't know about right now to unstone people really quickly? And then like that is going to require much more advanced science. And then we're going to do basically this, where that is like that is combined with just general other quality of life improvements until we eventually get to the next big stage of civilization, and then maybe we'll do another final boss thing. We'll see. We'll see. Like I'm getting way ahead of myself. But my main thing is that I assume once they finally set off on the boat, that's a big paradigm shift. Like we can cut back to the village, but I don't think we'll be doing a lot of big scientific stuff at the village. So they have to leave the village off like as well as they can. They have to do all the big scientific things they've wanted to do at the village now. And that is why I think we're going to be mining, as based on this cover image, which is all about mining. So I didn't need to justify any of it. I could have just said, this is obviously going to be a mining arc. Yeah, gotta hand it to Y-Man. Before him, we didn't have a single lead to follow. Like, I appreciate that. Because before, there was already sort of a target, but it was really just, the opposite side of the world, which would have just been like, it wasn't even the exact opposite side of the world. It was just the opposite side of the world. Like, as much as I've been saying Brazil, it's not 100% like, it doesn't have to be there. It has to be somewhere vaguely in South America, but it could honestly be in North America, as far as I know. Like, all we know is that on the space shuttle, or like on the space station, they saw a big flash of light on the opposite side of the world, and based on that, they tried to land in the exact opposite side. So, like, actually having a target that they can try and track down is much better. It means they might actually meet someone interesting. It also means potentially, if the Y-Man is not near the epicenter of the explosion, that gives them two different targets to go after. Yeah, if Y-Man's eerie message really was a threat, warding us off, it's funny how it had the opposite effect. But that's how Senku is. You present him a challenge and he will absolutely take it. Oh, wait, what? Wait, what? What did she cut? I thought that she was like slamming her cutter right into someone's face or something. She made the first 3-star restaurant in the Stone Age. in addition to it just being like, super fancy, like sashimi for the very first time, like on top of all of that, it's also just cool because she can teach them new ways to cook and new ways to like prepare meals. Like, in addition to just having all the raw ingredients now, they also have a bunch of different ways to prepare stuff. So, like, if they can't cook for whatever reason, or like if their stove breaks or whatever, they'll have like a ton of backup options. Hmm? See through anything? Again, I love this. Like, I love that Dr. Stone has been paying attention to what is each person's proverbial light bulb. Like, Chrome saw the sonar, so his is automatically the sonar. Whereas Gin is still in the like he's back in the light bulb era. He's still back in like the first 50 chapters. X-rays can kind of do that, but he can't see through the chest clothes. No, no, no. I'm certain now because this has been his baby ever since the very start. He wants to learn, like he wants to improve mining. So he's got to be doing that. He has to be thinking like, I'm going to use radar to mine. To be fair, I have no idea how that works. Like I don't know if the same sonar/radar you can use for above ground stuff like penetrates through rock. I do know that like there are sensors you can use. Like I've seen documentaries on like oil rigs and stuff and how they find like new deposits of oil or they find like blockages by using like some sort of like something kind of like radar, but I don't know if it is radar. Okay, we're gonna install some massive engines on the ship. They'll provide our devices with all the juice they need. Oh man, I love this. Like I love that like it's not just they have electricity, it's that like now they have it, they need to make more engines, they have to make more stuff whenever they need to like they can repurpose devices for a little bit, like if they need to make one thing, like the car, for instance. But if they need to expand, they just need to remake all that stuff all over again. Like there's so much effort in Dr. Stone. I love it. Once I make these engines, the ship's right set stale. But they don't have a whole lot of metal, which means they have to dig underground, which means we're doing the mining arc. Yeah, we're now in the realm of manufacturing, and we're going to need mountains of iron and oil. That makes sense too. Like they've already gotten as much as they can using magnets and just the sea. I love this too because it's a very Chrome way of looking at things, where Chrome is a scientist, but he's like because he doesn't fully understand things, he's able to come up with conclusions that other people wouldn't. Like if I were in the stone world, I don't think I would have thought to use it on lands because I wouldn't know. Like, can you use radar on like to see through lands? But he just automatically thinks about it, like, hey, sure, why not? Like, why can't that work? I do know that different minerals have like different wavelengths, so that should work for that, maybe. He zoomed away just a second ago, yelling, "This'll work real bad," or something. Seriously, this is the greatest work of translation I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, the bad catchphrase. It is the best. It gets across the whole yabe thing perfectly. I love it. The bald mountain summit where Kohaku, Senku, and everyone harnessed lightning. Oh yeah, this infamous pose. There's no way she's wearing panties, but there's also no way that this pose should be possible moments. Oh, that's such a good callback too. Didn't I find it around here when I was little? There's gotta be more down under the grounds. This is a very inefficient way of doing it though. But I do appreciate it. Like I appreciate that he went off and he tried to do it on his own. Like that is the impetus of science. It wasn't the smartest thing. Like especially if he's going down into the caves. I wish he had told someone like specifically this is what I'm going to do. Especially since they only have one radar. But like I get it. I appreciate it. Okay, that's a very risky way to do this, but I think it's pretty cool. Like another real life treasure hunt. Okay, so we found it right under there though. Like they're gonna have to do some real like serious mining. Ah, did he bring the phone with him too? I assume so because he was able to. Yeah. Oh my god, this page is so insane though. Like imagine starting off with like chapter 10 of Doctor Stone and then jumping forward to this, where he's using basically a radio to call to all these people who we've seen before. Like most of these characters, like except for Arisui, but like most of these are like old school, old series characters. Like seeing him call out to them using a radio. They come here on a freaking like car, on this big gorilla car. And then he points out on radar, like, hey, look, this deposit is here. Like, that is wild. I can't believe all these things were made in the series. We saw them all being made. That's so insane. Okay, so that's how a metal detector works. I did not know that. The electromagnetic waves make it into radar for the Earth, basically. Yeah, use science in your own 2 feet to sniff out an iron ore deposits. Nice cameo by Taiju. Mine acquired. Man, they really rigged it up nicely too. Like they had light bulbs already. This seems like a very basic pulley system. So like it's not automated. It could be automated, but it doesn't have to be. Like, man, this calls back like the first time Senku meets Kohaku. Actually, like that was the first time he improvised a pulley system. And yeah, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be mechanical at all. It could just be people using their own strength for these. Wait a minute, is it like hooked up to like giant picks or something? Oh, that's so cool though. Yeah, like this is like I won't say it's like a modern mine. It definitely is. Like modern mining uses a lot of crazy like heavy machinery. But like this is some solid like 18th, 19th century mining. Like they've jumped forward so much. Aw, that's not why I'm smiling. It's like I got this idea in my head, so I ran my experiments and bam, it all worked out. It's bad just how fun science really is. Hmm. And Senku is also just very like high off of this idea. Like he's super elated. He's happy the Chrome's happy. Ryusui though, he's got those 3 dots. He's got that dot dot dots. Yeah, and like that means hauling in heaps of resources. Oh my god, is Ryusui going to invent AI? Like, is he going to set up a system where if you go in debt, you have to come down to the mines? I also appreciate, by the way, that due to acquiring like Tsukasa's kingdom, we don't have to see a bunch of characters that we've already seen before doing this. Like, most of them wouldn't be suited. Like, all the old people and like all the super young kids. Like, it makes sense that just the super buff guys that Tsukasa kept on breaking out would be the ones best suited for this. Yeah, the kingdom is over 100 strong now. We can split up our labor force to create a huge network of resources. Like now they can keep the mine going for like a long time. They just need one person to oversee it. And then they can take other people and have them, like find crops or do other things to prepare for winter. It's absolutely insane. Ah, they're making a mine cart. Now that our civilization has reached the age of manufacturing, we're at the point where a single genius won't exactly cut it. Okay. Like, they can't have Risui just be here, though. Keep your emotions in check. Never indulge in passion. Never believe that crap. I forged my own leadership style. Nobody's gonna follow a leader who doesn't know how to have fun. I can understand that though. Like that's what a lot of like startups now do. Like a lot of people see those shots of startups where they have like beer in the fridge and they have like a ping pong table and they've got like squishy couches and stuff, and they go like, "Oh, that's dumb. That's just a bunch of kids doing stupid stuff." But it makes sense. Like a big part of like modern like especially like modern tech companies is this idea of getting people who are very smart, who have very powerful skills, and then making them happy. Because if they're happy, they're gonna do good work. So in the same way, like even if you can have people who are just like, just dumb strong laborers working in these mines, if you just treat them well, they'll give you better work than if you actually like treat them like slaves. Then for a kingdom of science, your philosophy is honestly and truly a perfect match. Bad in a fun way. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, we don't have another page. I was just checking, but okay. So now they have oil. They can take the oil all the way over here. Yeah, so they have to use boats for these two. But then the minecart just takes things directly to the like the OG Kingdom of Science. The what is it called again? Ishigami Village. I forgot what Ishigami Village was called. But yeah, so they have like 2 small boat routes. Then they have the minecart, and then here, I guess Tsukasa's empire is kind of just separated from everything else. Like you can only really get there quickly via boat or via hot air balloon. Still, this is amazing. Like I adore this, and I really would be happy if like once our main cast leaves and goes to South America, I would love it if when they come back we get an update and we see that just on their own the villagers and like all the people who stayed behind did build like more resources things, like not a ton. I don't want them to like do a bunch of big advancements that we haven't seen. Like, but I'd be okay if they just found like raw resources, or if they were like, hey, we were able to find like these, like I don't know, like cows or whatever, and we were able to like create this farm here, or this all of this area is now like farmlands. I'd be cool with that. I think that'd be amazing. Ah, man, Doctor Stone. Like, what can I say? Doctor Stone is Doctor Stone. It is amazing. It is the best thing in Jump, like consistently. All right. Well, I mean, also, this was just one of the most Dr. Stone chapters we've had in a while. Like, even though the series is incredibly consistent, at the same time, like, this really had everything. It had, a character who hasn't had a lot of focus as of late get some well deserved focus. We've gotten, like, some big callbacks to the past. We've got some crazy innovation. We had new science being invented using old science. Like, it's so good. I love it. I love it so much. Dr. Stone is amazing. It just is. All right. Well, that was Dr. Stone. Next is My Hero Academia, chapter 219. We've got Todoroki and Bakugo stopping someone on the street. They are now, like, they've got their licenses. This isn't illegal. They can do this, which I'm really happy about. Like, one of the things I dislike about the series is that, our characters don't really do stuff on the streets. Like, that completely limits what they are. I did all this before. Go watch my last reaction if you want me to rant about how I think X-Men is better than My Hero Academia. This is also, like, hopefully this will tie into the revolution thing we've been doing as well. Because, like, that's also been a really interesting plot line. Yeah, it was all done for this moment in this part of town where there'd be plenty of suckers, not a single hero. I do like that, though. Like, I appreciate heroes who don't have a set pattern. Like, not vigilantes per se, but, someone like Spider-Man, who I guess is a vigilante, who just can swoop in and stop some random crime. I think that's just an interesting thing. Like, it's the Batman effect of, like, if you know Batman's just around, even if he can't stop all the crime in Gotham City, just the fact that he can be there just anywhere automatically makes crime less appealing because, like, you can't plan around it. It'll just happen at random. Okay, I control carbonation. Getting all shook up makes me feel really alive. Okay, that's actually a pretty cool ability. Like the ability just to carbonate things. Okay, so he's using it to, like, propel himself away. I do appreciate this though. Like, I appreciate that once the class at 1A goes into the field, like, they're not going to be completely outclassed. It's not like they're all super weak. Like, they're impressive now and they're going to be impressive when they get out into the field. Like, they are genuinely a cut above the rest. Like, one thing I dislike about series that try to do that is when you have like when you have characters who are still in training and then it's inevitable that once they come out of training, like, they're still outclassed. Like, the entire world is just that terrifyingly powerful, which makes you think, like, well, why were they being trained in the first place? I think my hero has always been pretty good about that. Wait a minute, what? This thing's strong. It's too strong. What? Is that not his quirk? Like, is he using a device to amplify his quirk? Hmm. And I do love this. Like, All Might, even without any power whatsoever, he's still rushing in. Like, that's just his nature. I assume Bakugo is going to save her, but still. Yep, there we are. You want to die? Go somewhere else. Okay. Flash freeze heat wave. So using both sides at once. Or, like, really quickly one after the other, maybe. Nice. Oh man, Bakugo. I pickpocketed him back so they wouldn't be blown to bits. Yeah, like, he is legitimately a fantastic hero. You're sure to be top heroes one of these days. You can leave the rest to me. Slide and go. So that was definitely, like, evil villain gear that, like, self-destructs once you've been defeated. Interesting. So is this going to tie into Destro's son, perhaps? Like, that the implication was that they were going to be making, like, because they're branching into hero gear, they're probably also branching into villain gear or into, like, revolutionary gear. Nothing good can come of using inferior black market products. Yeah, so it is 100% from his organization. Constantly monitored. If things are looking risky, I make them self-destruct, leaving no trace. Makes sense. All to further the liberation agenda. I think that's so cool. Because it means that, like, the Liberation Army doesn't necessarily have to be, like, a direct threat. Like, that's the thing. I don't want them to be another Hasakai, for instance. I want them to be, like, just a general threat. I think that would work really well. Like, if they're just, like, leaking products into the black market, maybe the League of Villains starts to use some of their stuff without even knowing that they're being guinea pigs, and that just makes villains in general stronger, which leads to some other conflicts. Like, we still have Gigantomachia to deal with. I don't know if we're going to get to that. Like, I keep on harping on it, but I could see just, like, some other villain, or, like, even something like Gentle Criminal, for instance, like, just some other side thing that uses their gear. And then maybe we'll have a couple of those that leads up to eventually their cover being blown. or just like the Liberation Army like making a big move. And then somehow that ties into the League of Villains. You told us to move on that immediately, and your word is as good as Destro's. They're saying he's not in a talkative mood, though. Who could this be? Like, it might just be a new character, but I don't know who it could be. The search for his client list. Oh my gosh, it's Giron. He helps League of Villains recruit and provides them with support items. There's no doubt that Giron the broker has plenty of info on the League. That's true. Like, last chapter, we did establish that, like, the revolutionaries are going to be enemies to the League. So, of course, they would do this. Yeah, look what we have here. If it ain't President Forehead of Detronat himself. By the way, I do know that this is talented backwards. Or, talented. I've been making bank off this stuff since I got started, but now it's looking like your big legit company is entering my rackets. I can understand that. Like, Giron's always been a fun character. I've always liked him. If he doesn't cave at all, I'm going to be pretty happy. If he dies, I'm going to be pretty sad. But if he doesn't cave and still manages to get out of this, I'll be pretty into it. Right. Because what kind of merchant sells out his customers? Thanks, but come again when you got the guts to do this right. That's also a really good, like, parallel to what we just saw. Like, the fact that Detronat's, like, current things that they're testing with villains will just self-destruct. Like, if things are getting dicey, they self-destruct even. Like, presumably, even in the middle of a fight, they might, if they think it's too risky. Or if they're afraid that it might get stolen by one of the heroes. Whereas with Giron, like, he stands completely behind his customers. Okay, well, and you can start to see the pattern, like, reappearing on his side. I like the way it is. Like, it's just the 2 dots there, and then it's, like, it's slowly creating almost a branch, perhaps. We know it doesn't look that pretty normally, but maybe it will. Like, maybe even what we saw before was, like, it was blotchy, but it was, like, it was going too far. And if he's using his powers to, like, a reasonable degree, it looks like a cool design. About a month and a half earlier, before the hero billboard charts. Gigantomachia. Oh boy, we're finally getting Kirishima's dad. I don't really think that's the case, but I do love that meme. Why all for one? Okay, so that's where we're leaving it, too. Oh, wow, is he crying? Yeah, he definitely looks like he's crying. I guess this must be part of the plan. Like, if I get captured in in a little while, you have to go and find Gigantomachia and tell him I got captured, and, he'll become, he'll be on your side. But it's not quite working out. Oh boy, I hope Spinner saves the day. Like, right now, Spinner's right here. He doesn't look too bruised up or anything. It's time for him to use his quirk to reveal his secret power. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting Gigantomachia, though. I also, like, the fact that it was a month and a half earlier, so, like, that means that back then, like, before Endeavor got hurt at all, like, this all went down. So, I guess that's why we didn't get anything with Gigantomachia. It's because we already got it. It already happens. Like, I'm hoping we stay within this flashback for a while then. I don't want to cut back and forth between them. Like, if we're going to do this, I want 1 or 2 chapters that just completely covers this, and I want to go back to whatever we're doing. Whether it's UA, or whether it's Detronauts, or anything else. Or even just, like, Gigantomachia and the League of Villains doing something. Like, I don't want to jump around too much. Overall, real solid chapter. Like, can't really argue with it. It was good. It was good. I'm gonna stick it, like, it was fairly in the middle. I think I'd put it, like, above, I think it was below One Piece. So, I'll put it there. Like, everything in Jump right now is good. Like, I'd say they're all, like, at the very minimum, like, a 6 out of 10. So, like, My Hero, this was a good chapter. It was, like, a solid 7 out of 10. Anyways, that was my that was my weekly Shonen Jump. That was My Hero Jump for the week of March 10th, 2019. Time for not the chapter schedule. I just want to look at the author comments. Why is it always so difficult to get to? Okay, it's my first weekly serialization in a while. My plan is to create a cheerful and fun manga. I hope that's not ironic. Like, I hope that this is really going to be a cheerful and fun manga, because I'm into that. Like, I'd like something that is... I made so many comparisons to Rosario, like, especially earlier Rosario. And I would be so into that if this was just like a less funny, less like harem-y Rosario to vampire. Like if it was just boiled down to a girl with two split personalities and a bunch of fights and some sort of romance. I think that'd be awesome. When I woke up after getting my chapter done, my family kidnapped me and threw me in the car. Huh? Hot springs? Delicious food? Yay, it's the Healthland Spa. I love that though. Like, I'm glad. From everything I've heard in the past, it seems like Oda worked himself way too hard before. I'm really glad that his family is now like, no, you can't do that. Like, he's married to a woman he loves. He has like kids. Like, his family is willing to say like, no, you know what? We're going to the spa. We're going to hang out. You have no say in this. Ah, the Umbrella Academy series was great. I again, I didn't really check it out. I'm curious enough in it though. Like I liked the comics. I think that it's probably going to be okay. If Kai Shirai, like Kai Shirai has mentioned it multiple times, so I have to imagine it's going to be pretty good. It's so fun to open the bonus items that come with the Fue Ramune whistle ring candy with my staff. For a minute there, I thought he meant like a Nyoibo, like a literal staff, and not like with the people that work with him. With modern technology, a radio and a calculator can become a metal detector. So easy. I imagine Doctor Stone would be a much different series if it was like what do you think of when you think of a post-apocalyptic series? Like a series where you could scavenge for things. Like I imagine Senku would be so far ahead if he could scavenge things. I'm glad he can't. There was a My Hero quizzing David-kun. I was so happy. Thank you so much, Kuroki-sensei. Wait, really? Like in Teenage Renaissance David? Or is this like a magazine or something? David-kun, like just that abbreviation makes me think of like Terebi-kun or like other like kids magazines. But like it has to be something very high profile if it's something that Horikoshi himself would like dedicate an author comment to saying thank you for. I finally got an LCD tablet. Amazing. It's the next gen. Oh no. Has he been using like one of those super chunky like 2003 tablets this entire time? Because it's not even like an HD tablet, it's an LCD tablet. Like just a tablet that has a like a liquid colored display on it. I received some Kanpei Mikan from Mr. W. I've been reminded of the deliciousness of citrus once again this year. Thank you, Mr. W. What is Kanpei Mikan? I mean, I know it's like Mikan oranges. What is Kanpei Mikan? Oh, I assume this is just like a very specific variety then. Okay, I've definitely done this before. I went to the park to refresh myself. I tried to blast my key at the pigeons, but none of them flew away. I mean, I haven't done it recently, but I remember being a kid and trying to like summon up my key energy in order to try and like make things levitate at the park or try to like disturb like the birds. I apologize to the birds. They didn't do anything wrong. It's getting really tough to turn down friends who want to hang out, so I really need to learn how to work faster. That's a good motivation. Like I've definitely been in this situation too, and I'm trying to find a healthy balance between just like saying no to friends, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to use this amount of energy for this thing that's not going to be great. But also like hanging out with people because like you can't turn everyone down. Like that's how you push people away. Like I've had to like figure that out multiple times in my life. Like when I prioritized my friends and I like neglected my family, I eventually had to learn like, oh, I have to like take care of my family. And then I had to figure out how to take care of my friends. And I had to learn how to like find like balance different friend groups. It's a learning process. I'm glad the fried ham egg cutlet at the supermarket is delicious. I thought I was getting sick, but it was allergies. When did winter ends? That's gotta be pretty mind-blowing, actually. Like, it does not feel like winter's ending right now. I can't believe it's March. Maybe it's because I only draw villains, but I'm into anime aimed at young children. Is this my medicine doctor? I can understand that. Like, if you're super into edgy stuff, like, it's the whole, like, delinquents that are really into cute things thing. It's the whole point of, like, when you're into something real hardcore, you want something that isn't hardcore to balance it out. Plus, I imagine it's just like anime aimed at super young children is probably just good for mangaka in general. Like, I've been super obsessed with this idea recently of like just watching anime because you want to watch some anime. Like, not following the plot, not following like the actual storyline of it, but just like like for example, not knowing anything about My Hero, but occasionally just putting on a episode of My Hero. I don't do that myself. I don't think I could bear to do that. Like I am so anti spoiler that I feel like jumping into things randomly would like kill me or it would like stop me from ever wanting to watch any more of the series. But I remember doing it as a kid, like just when I had like cable TV. when all I like, when I couldn't control what I was watching, so I just had to watch whatever was on. And if it was a new series that wasn't airing in order, I just had to deal with it. Like, something about that is so interesting to me now. Like, now that we have a world where you don't have to do that, choosing to do that is neat. I've been thinking about making a list of, like, which jump series could you jump into? Like, not anime, just manga. Like, which manga could you legitimately just pick up and start reading and get really into? Because for those of you who don't know, that's how I got into We Never Learn. Like, I used to read basically everything in the super stripped down English magazine back when we had like half the series we have now. And I desperately wanted to read We Never Learn a couple times, so I just read the chapters. And then after doing that a few times, I realized like, oh, this is a great series. I want to start it from the start. So I just casually did it by myself without recording the reactions. Like, that concept is super interesting to me. So we'll see. I'm not going to do it myself. I don't think I have the bravery needed to do something like that, but I might make like a video of like which series from top to bottom would be the series that you could potentially just jump into without actually reading anything beforehand. Anyways, that's not the list that this is. This is my final ranking list. So in total, I decided to rank these as such: Dr. Stone, We Never Learn, Chainsaw Man, The Promised Neverland, Lation, Actage, Yui Kamio Let's Loose, The Last Saiyuki, Black Clover, One Piece, My Hero, Hell Warden, and Food Wars. Man, I've picked up so many new series like ever since the new Jump initiative to like try to simulpub everything. Ah, and that's not even counting like the series that are exclusive to Manga Plus, which I don't even know if I want to. Like, there are so many series. I want some of these to, to fail in the magazine just because like there's so much going on. But at the same time, like I've been loving it. I do love starting series. And if there's one thing Jump's good at, it's starting series. Like I know I'll never like be out of series to start as long as I keep on doing this. Anyways, that was Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of March 10th, 2019. Thank you all so very much for watching. Next week, I hopefully will be able to do a live stream, just again for like the normal live stream portion. Let me know in the comments actually if you want to see me react to the Last Saiyuki or Yui Kamio like in the live stream. If not, I'll keep them as pre-recorded series. I want to try and like keep my live stream series slim, like just a couple, maybe 6. Like maybe I would just add one more series, but even then, like I like having that spot blank just in case like One Punch Man puts out a chapter, so I could just jump into that. But, like, with everything else, like, there's nothing so far I wanna drop. It's all been good. Like, I'm interested enough in most of these series. Even, like, Hell Warden was the series that I was thinking about dropping before, but it's won me over. I'm back into it. Anyways, that was Weekly Shonen Jump. Thank you all so very much for watching. Bye for now. Nya nya.